Hi, welcome back guys. This is your Sensei, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Naruto Became God of All Clans? Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Disclaimer, Naruto does not belong to me, nor do the images used. You all know the thoughts, etc. Sometimes legends die, but they always leave something behind in the world, whether good or bad, like the chakra of the Sage of Six Paths or the villages of the Fourth Hokage. However, not everything is black and white. Thousands of years ago, the legendary Sage of Six Paths, Hagoromo Otsutsuki, held a child who appeared to be just a few months old. He expressed his hopes for the child, saying that he would bring the peace he could not achieve and inherit his complete power. He urged the child to stay on the right path and reminded him that he was loved. With those words, the child vanished, and Hagoromo whispered a farewell to Naruto Otsutsuki before disappearing as well. Present day. Naruto was reborn, this time to Minato Uchiha and Kushina Uzumaki, leaders of their clans and grandchildren of Madara Uchiha and Kayami Uchiha, as well as Hashirama Senju and Mito Uzumaki, respectively. Everything unfolded as in the original story until Naruto turned 5 years old. Konohagakure, 5 years after the attack of the Kyuubi no Kitsune. A 5-year-old boy, known as Naruto Uzumaki, was being chased through the village of Konoha by a mob of villagers and a few shinobi. He found himself in a dead-end street and, in a moment of desperation, decided to leap over a wall after dodging a barrage of knives, plates, pots, and a few kunai or shuriken. A few projectiles struck him just before he jumped the wall, and one kunai flew directly toward his head. In that instant, his eyes awakened the three-tomo Sharingan, a sight not seen since Itachi and Madara Uchiha, allowing him to narrowly evade the kunai. At that moment, the third Hokage arrived, and Naruto fainted from the strain of activating his Sharingan. The third Hokage commanded the Umbu to apprehend the mob and take them to the tower afterward before carrying Naruto to the Hokage Tower. Naruto's mental space. Inside his mental space, Naruto found himself in what appeared to be a sewer. As he walked, he came across massive bars. Curious, he approached them when a deep voice spoke to him. The Kyuubi revealed itself, a giant fox with 9 tails, and introduced itself as the most powerful of the 9-tailed beasts. It explained that they were in Naruto's mental space. Naruto, confused, asked who it was and where they were. The Kyuubi responded that it was the reason the villagers hated him, revealing that the 4th Hokage had chosen Naruto to contain it because he trusted him. The Kyuubi had attacked the village because it had been controlled by a rogue Uchiha. Naruto, determined, promised to find the Uchiha and defeat him, which intrigued the Kyuubi. The fox agreed to help but insisted that Naruto must train first. The Kyuubi revealed its true name, Kurama, and instructed Naruto to focus in order to exit his mental space. As Naruto concentrated, the landscape shifted to a meadow with a small forest, and Kurama wore a collar with a seal. Just before Naruto vanished from his mental space, he opened his eyes slowly to see 3 Umbu and his grandfather, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the 3rd Hokage, in front of him. Confused, Naruto asked what had happened. Hiruzen explained how he had been attacked and then instructed the Umbu to leave the office, except for Itachi, Yugao, and Kakashi. He placed a privacy seal and informed Naruto that what he was about to share was a secret of the highest rank, which he could not disclose to anyone without consulting him first. Hiruzen asked Naruto, who responded with a nervous nod, understanding the seriousness of the situation. Hiruzen explained that he would tell Naruto about his parents and why the villagers treated him the way they did, urging him not to interrupt. Naruto agreed, listening intently. Hiruzen revealed that Naruto's parents were Minato Uchiha, the former leader of the Uchiha clan and the 4th Hokage, and Kushina Uzumaki, the former leader of the Uzumaki clan. This made Naruto the current leader of both clans. Hiruzen had kept this information from him to protect him, as his parents had many enemies due to the 3rd Great Ninja War. He explained that the villagers despised Naruto because the 4th Hokage, his father, had sealed the 9 tails inside him instead of defeating it. Naruto was stunned to learn that his father had sealed Kurama within him. He managed a small smile and thanked Hiruzen. Hiruzen, surprised, instructed Itachi, Yugao, and Kakashi to remove their masks. As they did, he pointed out their connections to Naruto. Kakashi had been a student of his father, Yugao had trained under his mother, and Itachi was part of his clan, being the son of the current clan leader. They would train Naruto in ninjutsu, kenjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu with his Sharingan. A year passed since Naruto began his training. In the mornings he trained with his teachers, and in the afternoons he trained with Kurama. The first year focused on taijutsu and physical endurance, where he performed 1,000 squats, push-ups, and ran 50 kilometers without stopping, all while wearing weights. Kurama taught him his father's technique, the Thunder Fist, which involved delivering strong and rapid strikes to pressure points on the body. On October 10th, Naruto's birthday, Kurama woke him up. Naruto greeted Kurama with a yawn, then took a shower, changed, and had cereal for breakfast before heading to the Hokage Tower. He burst through the door to see Hiruzen. Hiruzen greeted him warmly, wishing him a happy birthday. Naruto thanked him while receiving a gift, eager to open it when a knock sounded at the door. Hiruzen invited the guests in, and Yugao, Itachi, and Kakashi entered, holding a book with an orange cover. They all wished Naruto a happy birthday. Kakashi smiled knowingly, and Naruto expressed his gratitude. Yugao handed him her gift, Kakashi presented his, and Itachi also brought something for him. Naruto thanked them all, his eyes glistening with tears as he embraced them. Hiruzen encouraged Naruto to open his gifts. Naruto quickly unwrapped Hiruzen's gift, revealing a black ANBU outfit. Yugao's gift was a red-handled katana, and Kakashi's was a mask similar to his own. Excited, Naruto immediately put on Kakashi's mask. Itachi gifted him a contract for summoning crows. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Naruto thanked them again, tears in his eyes, before leaving the office. Back at home, Naruto donned the new clothes and stored the katana away, deciding to take a walk instead of training. Thanks to the mask, the villagers did not recognize him. As he strolled through a park, he noticed 2 8-year-old boys bullying a 6-year-old girl. Stepping in front of the girl, he confronted the boys, demanding to know what they were doing. One of the boys tried to hit Naruto, but he easily dodged and countered with a swift blow to the stomach, knocking the boy out. The second boy shouted angrily, attempting to strike Naruto, but he evaded effortlessly and delivered a punch that left the boy incapacitated. Turning to the girl, he asked her name. She shyly introduced herself as Hinata Hyuga. Just then, a Hyuga approached, instructing Hinata to come with him. He glared at Naruto, calling him a demon as he took Hinata away. Naruto sighed, feeling a mix of emotions, noting that Hinata was pretty before heading home. Once at home, Kurama called for Naruto. In his mental space, Naruto wondered why Kurama was speaking to him. Kurama informed him that they would be leaving the village for a while. Naruto was taken aback, but Kurama reassured him it would only be until the Genin exams. He instructed Naruto to speak with Hiruzen about it. Agreeing, Naruto headed to the Hokage Tower. Hiruzen listened as Naruto made his request. After some thought, Hiruzen agreed but warned Naruto to return. Naruto thanked him and went home to prepare, storing what he needed in sealing scrolls. At the village entrance, he found Itachi, the Ichiraka family, Yugao, Hiruzen, and Kakashi waiting for him. They had come to say goodbye. Grateful, Naruto thanked them before setting off. As he walked, he asked Kurama where they were headed. Kurama, with a hint of exasperation, replied that they were going to Uzushiogakure. Upon arriving, Naruto followed Kurama's instructions to place some of his blood on the ground near the water, watching as whirlpools surrounded the village. Inside the village, Kurama began to speak, but Naruto fainted and entered his mental space. There, Kurama called out to him, urging him to look at the water. Confused, Naruto asked what was happening. Kurama explained that he had awakened his Uzumaki genes. Just then, a figure appeared, introducing himself as Hagoromo Otsutsuki, claiming to be Naruto's father in a sense. Naruto was bewildered, insisting that his father was Minato, the 4th Hokage. Hagoromo explained that he had 3 sons, Indra, Ashura, and Naruto. He had sent Naruto to the future to inherit his full power and bring peace, as his other sons had only caused war. Indra and Ashura arrived, arguing about their roles. Hagoromo silenced them, revealing that they had come to train Naruto. Indra promised to grant Naruto the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and teach him how to use it. Ashura offered the Ashura mode and infinite chakra from all the tailed beasts, but Naruto would need to gather Kurama's brothers. Excited, Naruto agreed to reunite the tailed beasts. Hagoromo promised to give him the Rinnegan and Rinne Sharingan, as well as training in his taijutsu. Before that, he would teach Naruto a jutsu to create a wooden house using Mokuton. Naruto was amazed to learn he possessed Mokuton abilities. Hagoromo explained to Naruto that with the Rinnegan he possessed all elements and sub-elements. He outlined a training plan for Naruto, detailing the focus for each year. The first year would be dedicated to chakra control, endurance, speed, intelligence, and strength. The second year would focus on taijutsu and ninjutsu. The third year would involve learning Uzumaki's sealing techniques and medical ninjutsu. The fourth year would cover genjutsu and kenjutsu. The fifth year would be about mastering Ashura mode and chakra control of the tailed beasts. The sixth year would focus on Dojutsu techniques, and the seventh year would be dedicated to the Sage mode of the Six Paths. Finally, he suggested leaving a month for Naruto to gain experience. Naruto expressed his gratitude, and Hagoromo instructed him on a specific jutsu while demonstrating a sequence of hand seals. The day before the Genin exam, Naruto, a 13-year-old with a red-handled katana on his back, approached the entrance of Konohagakure. At the entrance, a guard questioned his identity and purpose. Naruto introduced himself as Naruto Uzumaki and stated his desire to join the ninja ranks. The second guard informed him that an Umbu would escort him to the Hokage Tower. An Umbu with a cat mask appeared and instructed Naruto to follow him. Inside the Hokage Tower, a knock was heard at the door. Hiruzen welcomed them in, and Naruto entered alongside the Umbu. Hiruzen called for another Umbu and requested Kakashi's presence. A few minutes later, Kakashi arrived and inquired about the situation. Hiruzen then asked all Umbu to leave before placing a privacy seal. With a small smile, Hiruzen embraced Naruto, who was surprised but happy. Yugao removed her mask and hugged Naruto as well. Kakashi remarked that Yugao was squeezing him too tightly, to which she apologized, feeling a bit embarrassed. Naruto reassured her that it was fine and asked about Itachi, his older brother. Hiruzen then explained the Uchiha massacre, emphasizing that Naruto must keep this information confidential. Naruto, with tears in his eyes for Itachi, promised to keep the secret. Hiruzen changed the subject, asking if Naruto was ready for the Genin exam. Naruto confirmed his eagerness and inquired about Itachi's brother, Sasuke. Hiruzen explained that Sasuke Uchiha was his name and hoped they would get along, reminding Naruto not to reveal Itachi's actions. Naruto, determined, expressed his desire to help Sasuke understand the truth. Hiruzen sighed and asked about Naruto's current abilities. Naruto confidently claimed he could easily defeat the 5 Kages, leaving everyone astonished. Kakashi and Yugao both expressed their surprise, and Naruto, slightly embarrassed, asked them not to inform the council. Hiruzen handed Naruto the paperwork for the Genin exam and the keys to his new home. Grateful, Naruto thanked him and left. On his way to his favorite restaurant, which was closing for the night, Naruto called out to the shop owner. Tuchi, the owner, initially told him they were closing, but upon recognizing Naruto he exclaimed his name and rushed to embrace him. Ayam, Tuchi's daughter, joined them, recognizing Naruto immediately and giving him a warm hug. Tuchi jokingly pointed out that Ayam was squeezing him too tightly. After Ayam apologized, Tuchi invited Naruto to eat ramen, opening the shop just for him. After enjoying 15 bowls of ramen, Naruto returned home, marveling at his new house, which had 3 bedrooms and a large living room. Suddenly, a small ball of smoke appeared, revealing a white fox with 10 tails, the size of a small dog. Kurama informed Naruto that the seal had weakened and it was time to remove it, urging him to come to the mental space. Naruto agreed and prepared to remove the seal. Just as he was about to do so, his father, Minato, appeared and grasped his hand, looking serious. Naruto, excited, attempted to embrace him. Minato expressed his regret for sealing the kyuubi within Naruto. Naruto reassured him, stating that thanks to him, he had met Kurama. Minato was surprised to see the white fox, and Kurama clarified that he was indeed the kyuubi but had a different appearance. As Naruto recounted everything that had happened, Minato and Kushina, his mother, appeared. They shared their farewells, with Naruto promising to bring them back one day. The next morning, Kurama woke Naruto up, urging him to get ready. After a quick shower, Naruto dressed in an umbu outfit and headed to the academy. At the academy, Naruto knocked on the door, and a man with a scar on his nose opened it. Iruka introduced himself and instructed Naruto to wait until he called him into the classroom. When Iruka entered the class, he quieted the students and announced the arrival of a new classmate. Naruto stepped inside and introduced himself as Naruto Uzumaki, leader of the Uzumaki clan, and stated his age. Ino, one of the students, found him attractive, while Hinata excitedly called out to him. Iruka observed that Naruto and Hinata seemed to know each other and invited Naruto to sit beside her. As he settled down next to Hinata and a peculiar-looking man, he introduced himself. Shino Aburame responded in an indifferent tone, stating his name. Naruto returned the greeting, and Iruka began his speech about being a shinobi. Iruka announced that it was time for the tests, and everyone headed outside for the shuriken and kunai exam. The results were as follows. For the girls, Ino Yamanaka scored 8 out of 9. Sakura Haruno scored 8 out of 8. Hinata Hyuga scored 9 out of 8. Civilians scored 5 out of for the boys. Kiba Inazuka scored 8 out of 7. Shikamaru Nara scored 6 out of 6. Shino Aburame scored 9 out of 9. Sasuke Uchiha scored 10 out of 10. Choji Akimichi scored 7 out of. Next was the ninjutsu test. Iruka instructed everyone to perform a transformation, a replacement, and a clone technique. While everyone performed well, Naruto created shadow clones, impressing Iruka. Afterward, Iruka dismissed them. Naruto headed to a training field and sensed a presence nearby. He called out to Hinata, who emerged from her hiding spot, blushing deeply. She nervously expressed her feelings for him, saying she liked him for his kindness and determination. Naruto admitted he liked her too but hesitated, explaining that as the last of his clan, he would need multiple wives to restore it. Hinata reassured him that she didn't mind being with him. In a moment of courage, Naruto kissed her, and she quickly returned the gesture. Hinata then expressed her desire to introduce him to her father, and Naruto agreed. The next day, Naruto made his way to the academy and encountered Ino. She greeted him, slightly blushing. Kurama, Naruto's inner voice, teased him about his charm. Naruto brushed it off, and they hurried to class, hand in hand. Upon arriving, Naruto released Ino's hand, and she felt a bit sad to let go. As Naruto took his seat, Hinata, with a puzzled expression, noted that he had been holding hands with Ino. Naruto, confused, denied it but whispered that he wouldn't mind doing so again. Hinata caught his words and assured him that he could count on her. Grateful, Naruto gave her a small kiss. Iruka then arrived to announce the teams. Team 7 would be led by Kakashi Hatake, consisting of Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, and Hinata Hyuga. Team 8 would be led by Kurenai Yuhi, with Kiba Inazuka, Shino Aburame, and Sakura Haruno. Team 10 would be led by Asuma Sarutobi, including Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akimichi. Iruka informed them that they would have the next day off and should return to meet their senseis. Hinata, a bit hesitant, invited Naruto to her home to meet her father. He agreed, calling her Hinata. At the Hyuga compound, Naruto stood before Hiyoshi Hyuga, the clan leader, holding Hinata's hand. Nervously, he asked for her hand in marriage. Hiyoshi, serious, questioned why he should grant such a request. Naruto boldly asked why not. Hiyoshi explained that Hinata was the heir of the clan and needed a strong husband. He also mentioned that as the last male Uzumaki, Naruto would enter the Clan Restoration Act. Hinata confirmed her awareness of this, and Naruto insisted he was strong enough. Hiyoshi challenged Naruto to a fight to determine his worthiness. They moved to the training field, and Hiyoshi activated his Byakugan, attempting to strike Naruto. Naruto skillfully dodged and countered with a powerful blow that Hayashi barely blocked. Then, Naruto unleashed a series of rapid strikes, executing the 8 trigrams 64 palms technique. Hayashi, weakened from the attack, was astonished by Naruto's skill. Naruto explained that by infusing his hands with lightning chakra, he could close the Tenketsu points without needing the Byakugan, effectively paralyzing his opponent's muscles. Impressed, Hayashi acknowledged Naruto's strength and agreed that he could date his daughter. Grateful, Naruto thanked him. The following day at the academy, only Team 7 was present, as their sensei had not yet arrived. Sasuke grumbled about the tardiness, while Naruto reminded him to get used to it. Hinata was surprised, and Sasuke expressed his frustration. Naruto suggested they could simply arrive 2 hours late wherever they needed to go. Sasuke asked how Naruto knew their sensei, to which Naruto replied that Kakashi had been his teacher years ago. When Hinata inquired about Kakashi's personality, Naruto described him as carefree. Just then, Kakashi arrived, apologizing for being late and claiming he got lost on the path of life. He instructed them to meet him on the roof and vanished in a puff of smoke. Naruto, seizing the moment, grabbed Sasuke by the shoulder and Hinata by the waist, disappearing with a flash of red. On the rooftop, Kakashi praised Naruto for learning the Flying Thunder God technique. He then asked the team to introduce themselves. Hinata requested that Kakashi introduce himself first. Kakashi complied, stating his name and that his likes and dislikes were not important, and he had never thought about his dreams. Hinata introduced herself, sharing her fondness for cinnamon rolls and Naruto, her dislike for perverts and arrogance, and her aspiration to be a good heir for her clan. Kakashi then turned to Sasuke, who introduced himself, mentioning his love for tomatoes and training, his dislike for traitors and fangirls, and his dream of restoring his clan and avenging a certain person. Finally, Naruto introduced himself, expressing his love for Hinata and ramen, his dislike for arrogance and judgmental people, and his dream of restoring his clan and bringing peace to the shinobi world. Kakashi concluded by telling them to meet him at Training Field 7 at 8 a.m. the next day. The next day, Naruto reminded everyone not to skip breakfast or they would end up feeling unwell. He then vanished in a puff of smoke. He instructed them to have breakfast and arrive by 9. After giving Hinata a quick kiss, he disappeared in a flash of red. The following day at Training Field 7, Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke were present when Kakashi arrived. He pulled out a watch and informed them about the genin test. Kakashi signaled for them to begin, and they all jumped into action, hiding from him. Kakashi sensed Hinata and Sasuke's chakra but couldn't detect Naruto's. Naruto recalled that this test was a team exercise and decided to approach Sasuke, whose chakra felt closer. He quietly called out to Sasuke, who acknowledged him. Naruto explained that they needed to team up because the bells were meant to pit them against each other, and no genin could defeat a jounin alone. Sasuke agreed, and they both vanished in a flash of red. Kakashi noticed that he could no longer sense Sasuke's chakra. Meanwhile, Naruto approached Hinata from behind, surprising her with a hug. He then explained the same strategy to her, forming a plan to obtain the bells. Kakashi, meanwhile, dodged a couple of shurikens and put away his book. He saw a fireball coming toward him and substituted himself with a log. Hinata attempted to strike him, but he evaded her. Sasuke then launched another fireball, forcing Kakashi to retreat, but he noticed Naruto sneaking up to grab the bells and disappearing in a vortex. Kakashi wondered what Naruto had said just before the timer went off. Once they regrouped on the logs, Kakashi confirmed that they understood the purpose of the test. They all affirmed they did. Kakashi instructed them to come back the next day and Naruto playfully reminded Kakashi that if he was late, his Aika would be in danger, holding up a book with an orange cover. The next day, Team 7 gathered at the Hokage Tower. Naruto excitedly asked what they would do next. Hiruzen informed them that they would be taking on D-rank missions for now. Naruto eagerly offered to help with the paperwork, almost pleading. Hiruzen agreed but told him he needed to complete 10 D-rank missions first. Naruto quickly accepted the challenge. 10 minutes later, Naruto triumphantly announced he was done. Everyone was amazed. Hiruzen handed Naruto his reward but reminded him that he needed to rest for the day, as per the rules. Naruto declared he would use shadow clones before leaving with the rest of the team. They all bid him farewell. As Naruto wandered through the village, he spotted Ino and called out to her. She asked what he was doing, and he invited her to join him for a meal. Ino, blushing, happily accepted. At Ichiroku, Naruto sat next to Ino. I am asked what they would like to order. Naruto requested a miso ramen, and Ino nervously ordered the same. Tsuchi playfully asked if Ino was Naruto's girlfriend, to which Naruto replied nervously that she was not, causing Ino to look a bit sad while Iam seemed pleased. After several bowls of ramen, Naruto nervously told Ino he had something to confess. Ino encouraged him to share. He led her to Training Field 7, where he admitted he liked her. Ino revealed she felt the same way, and before long, they shared a kiss. The next day at the Hokage Tower, Hiruzen informed Team 7 that they would embark on their first C-rank mission, which involved escorting Mr. Tanaka to Kusagakure, the hidden grass village. Kakashi acknowledged the assignment, and Hiruzen reminded them that Konoha did not have a very friendly relationship with Kusagakure. As they prepared to leave, a man with shoulder-length white hair, wearing a long-sleeved brown shirt and navy blue pants, joined them. Kakashi instructed everyone to meet at the west exit in an hour. An hour later, at the entrance of Konoha, Kakashi confirmed they were all present and set off toward Kusagakure. After about 5 hours of travel and encountering a few bandits, Naruto expressed his boredom. Sasuke agreed, calling him a tomato. Naruto retorted angrily, and Sasuke responded with a smirk. Kakashi, reading his book, told them to calm down. Hinata asked if there were ninjas in Kusagakure, to which Kakashi confirmed there were, though not as many as in the 5 great villages. Sasuke inquired about these villages, and Kakashi listed them: Kumogakure, Kanahigakure, Sunagakure, Iwagakure, and Kirigakure. Sasuke noted that Konoha had always been the strongest. Hinata confirmed this was what they were taught in the academy. Kakashi began to explain further when Naruto interrupted, claiming there was a village that surpassed the 5 greats, Uzushiogakure. Sasuke asked what made it so special, and Kakashi explained it had the most powerful clan in the shinobi world. Hinata pointed out that the Uchiha and Senju clans belonged to Konoha. Naruto clarified that he was referring to the Uzumaki clan, his own. Kakashi elaborated on their vast chakra reserves and expertise in sealing techniques and swordsmanship. Hinata was intrigued by the chakra reserves, while Sasuke expressed jealousy, questioning how such a powerful clan was nearly wiped out. Naruto explained that 3 of the great villages Iwagakure, Kumogakure, and Kirigakure had united against the Uzumaki, resulting in a battle where they were outnumbered 10-1. The Uzumaki clan fought valiantly for 3 months, but their allies never arrived. Hinata asked who their allies were, and Kakashi replied that Konoha took a long time to respond, arriving to find only 1,000 of the original 10,000 remaining. Naruto added that the Yondaime made a name for himself by defeating many of them with the Hiraishin technique. Sasuke boasted that only an Uchiha could create such a technique, but Naruto corrected him, stating that the Nidaime Hokage, Senju Tobirama, had actually created it. Before they could continue, Tanaka interrupted, announcing their arrival at Kusagakure. At the entrance, a guard asked what they wanted. Tanaka explained he was there on business and was promptly interrupted by an explosion in the middle of the village. Team 7, alongside the guards, rushed to the scene and spotted Orochimaru with a girl with red hair. Naruto confronted Orochimaru, attempting to kick him, but Orochimaru dodged and retreated. Naruto activated his Mangekyo Sharingan and declared Amaterasu, grabbing the red-haired girl in a bridal style and transporting them both into his kamui. Inside the kamui, the girl, Karen, asked who he was, and Naruto introduced himself as Naruto Uzumaki. He then invited her to join him in Kanahigakure. Naruto felt a bit shy about causing problems for his only family and savior from that villain. He assured her that it was fine to stay and sleep, creating a bed out of thin air as he exited the Kamui dimension in front of Team Kakashi asked what had happened, and Naruto replied that nothing was wrong, inquiring about Orochimaru. Kakashi informed him that Orochimaru had escaped using a clay clone. Sasuke, curious, asked Naruto about the technique he had used. Naruto smiled slightly and promised to explain it later, suggesting that they should leave. Kakashi agreed, instructing the team to move out as he read from his book. After 2 hours of traveling toward Kanehagakure, Kakashi called for a break. Naruto excused himself, disappearing in a flash and reappearing with a red-haired girl beside him. Kakashi asked who she was, and Karen introduced herself as Karen Uzumaki. Kakashi questioned her presence, and Naruto explained that he had saved her from Orochimaru and offered her a place in Konoha, which she accepted. Hinata greeted Karen warmly, expressing her hope that they would become good friends. Once they arrived in Konoha, Kakashi told the group to go their separate ways, while he, Naruto, and Karen headed to the Hokage Tower to report in. At the tower, Hiruzen asked who Karen was, and Naruto proudly introduced her as a member of the Uzumaki clan. Hiruzen, looking serious, asked Karen if she wanted to be part of Konoha, to which she eagerly agreed. Kakashi inquired if she would become a shinobi, and Hiruzen confirmed she would join Team Hiruzen, then handed Naruto the keys to the Uzumaki mansion, explaining that as a leader, he would need to live there. Naruto accepted the keys with a smile, taking Karen's hand as they left in a flash of red light. After they departed, an Umbu member entered, requesting Hiruzen in the council room. Hiruzen instructed Kakashi to accompany Naruto and Karen to the council. Kakashi vanished in a puff of smoke. At the mansion, Naruto marveled at its size, comparing it to the Hyuga mansion. Karen was excited about their new home. Just then, Kakashi arrived, calling them to the council room. They disappeared together in a flash. In the council room, Hiruzen asked who had called the meeting, sitting down in his Hokage seat. Danzo stood up, stating that he had called the meeting to discuss Naruto Uzumaki and the new girl. As Kakashi, Naruto, and Karen entered, Danzo questioned their presence. Hiruzen clarified that he had summoned them. Danzo proposed that Naruto Uzumaki would enter the Clan Restoration Act and would be under his command as an Umbu member. Hiruzen firmly rejected this. Danzo suggested a vote, but before he could finish, he felt a blade at his neck and turned to find Naruto behind him, sword drawn. Naruto warned Danzo to show more respect to the Hokage, reminding him that his words could be seen as insubordination. Hiruzen calmly instructed Naruto to lower his sword, which he did, disappearing in a puff of smoke. Danzo was taken aback, realizing Naruto had used a shadow clone. Hiruzen declared that Naruto would enter the Clan Restoration Act under the second law, but he would not allow Danzo to train him. Hamura suggested that since Naruto would enter the act, he should marry someone. Hayashi interjected, stating that Naruto was already promised to his daughter, Hinata Hyuga, presenting marriage papers signed by both. Danzo inquired about Karen, to which Naruto introduced her as Karen Uzumaki. Hiruzen concluded the meeting. Several days later, in the Hokage Tower, Hiruzen announced that they would have a C-rank mission and called for Tazuna. When Tazuna arrived, he asked if they would protect him. Kakashi assured him they would and instructed the team to gather at the South Gate. After a few minutes at the South Gate, Kakashi led the team toward the Land of Waves. An hour later, they encountered a puddle of water, which Kakashi recognized as a genjutsu. Naruto whispered this to Kakashi, who nodded in acknowledgement. Suddenly, two ninjas emerged, using chains to ensnare Kakashi. Naruto instructed Hinata and Sasuke to defeat the attackers while he protected Tazuna. They complied, launching an attack against the two ninjas from Kirigakure, known as the Demon Brothers, Gozu and Meizu. Gozu taunted Naruto, but was swiftly kicked into a tree. Meizu cried out for his brother as Hinata executed her technique, sending Gozu flying into the same tree. Kakashi arrived, binding the brothers and questioning Tazuna about why Chunin-level ninjas were pursuing him. Tazuna explained the dire situation in his country. Kakashi decided they would continue but insisted that Tazuna pay for the mission as an A rank upon completion. Tazuna gratefully agreed. After another hour of travel and a boat ride to Tazuna's home, they disembarked. Naruto stretched, commenting on the journey, while Sasuke noted they had encountered a ninja. Hinata pointed out that they had defeated them easily. Naruto, feeling a bit down, remarked that at least they had fought. Hinata reassured him that he would fight alongside them if they were attacked. Suddenly, Naruto threw a kunai into a bush, and a rabbit hopped out. He declared it would be dinner as he sealed the rabbit away. Kakashi suddenly shouted for everyone to get down as they all ducked. Just as Zabuza Momochi, the Hidden Mist's notorious rogue ninja, appeared, his sword embedded in a tree. Kakashi recognized Zabuza and noted his reputation. Zabuza, serious, acknowledged Kakashi and then turned his gaze to Naruto, who greeted him with a smile. Zabuza, known as the Red Death, claimed no one had survived against him until now. Naruto challenged Zabuza, urging him to step aside to avoid further conflict. Zabuza, still harboring resentment from their last encounter, prepared for battle, leaping back to a clearing by a lake. He called out for their duel. Naruto accepted, drawing his sword. In a flash, he appeared behind Zabuza, who barely managed to block his strike. Naruto executed an upward slash, disarming Zabuza. Naruto urged Zabuza to surrender, dodging a horizontal slash aimed at him. Zabuza complimented Naruto's speed, and they exchanged blows, with Naruto blocking a downward cut and countering with a punch to Zabuza's stomach. Zabuza questioned why Naruto didn't finish him off. Naruto expressed his determination to Zabuza, reminding him that he had more to live for, just before Zabuza fell unconscious. An Anbu from the mist appeared to take Zabuza away, stating that he would be taking Zabuza Momochi. Naruto whispered to Haku to take care of him, ensuring that his team wouldn't overhear. After Haku took Zabuza away, Naruto returned to his team with a smile, suggesting they leave. Kakashi, still surprised, agreed and instructed the team to head to Tazuna's house. Upon arriving at Tazuna's home, Tazuna knocked on the door, announcing his arrival. Tsunami opened the door and welcomed them inside. Tazuna thanked the shinobi for defending him, and Naruto assured her that it was their job. During dinner, Naruto lamented that Karen couldn't join them, pouting slightly. Hinata explained that she had kenjutsu classes with Yugao. Sasuke pointed out that they hadn't anticipated a C-rank mission, as they were only supposed to have a D-rank assignment that day. Naruto acknowledged Sasuke's point. Suddenly, a boy entered the room. Tazuna called for Inari to come give him a hug. Inari rushed to his grandfather but then noticed the Konoha shinobi and expressed his frustration, suggesting they should leave because the strong always defeat the weak. Naruto retorted, telling Inari to speak for himself. Inari, serious, confronted Naruto, stating that he didn't understand what it was like to be treated like trash. Naruto, feeling a surge of anger reminiscent of the Nine Tails, warned Inari to be quiet, which startled Kakashi. Naruto approached the door and announced that he was going out and not to wait up for him. Kakashi, slightly concerned about Naruto's intense demeanor, agreed. After Naruto left, Inari expressed his confusion about Naruto's behavior. Hinata whispered Naruto's name, wanting to follow him, but Kakashi advised her to let him be, explaining that Naruto needed to vent. Sasuke, curious, asked why Naruto acted that way. Kakashi explained that Naruto was an orphan, much like Inari, but unlike Inari he had no family, as the entire village viewed him as a demon. Hinata asked why, and Kakashi replied that it was something Naruto would have to explain himself. He then suggested it was time for the team to sleep, doubting that Naruto would return that night. Meanwhile, Naruto was conversing with Kurama, who asked if he was alright. Naruto admitted he was a bit angry. Kurama reassured him that it was normal but reminded him that he might be forgetting something important. Naruto realized he needed to visit Haku and Zabuza and vanished in a flash of red. In a separate location, Haku expressed her concern to Zabuza about their mission. Zabuza agreed with her. Just then, Naruto arrived, stating that they needed to talk. Haku took a defensive stance, while Zabuza asked what Naruto wanted. Naruto simply introduced himself and stated that he wanted to help with the revolution in Kirigakure. Zabuza, serious, questioned his motives. Naruto explained that he sought the experience of war. Zabuza asked about Naruto's village, and Naruto urged him to come to Konoha and request the mission. Zabuza agreed, but only after the exams, insisting that Haku stay behind for her safety. Haku protested, but Zabuza insisted he didn't want anything to happen to her. He then asked Naruto to look after Haku while he was in Kirigakure, warning him not to harm her. Naruto, playfully, assured Zabuza that he wouldn't dare do anything to such a beautiful lady. Haku blushed at their banter. Before leaving, Naruto handed Zabuza medicine for his wounds. Zabuza thanked him, and Naruto reminded him to follow his instructions and not to harm anyone. Zabuza agreed to meet again once the bridge was nearly finished. Haku bid farewell to Naruto, who disappeared in a flash of red. The next day at Tazuna's house, Naruto knocked on the door, and Tsunami opened it, expressing concern for his absence and inviting him inside. Naruto asked where the others were, and Tsunami informed him they were training in the forest. He thanked her and quickly left in a burst of fire. At the training site, Kakashi called for Hinata and Sasuke to join him. Just then, Naruto arrived and asked to speak with them, taking a seat. Hinata, curious, asked what was going on. Naruto decided to share the truth about his strength. Kakashi, cautious, asked if Naruto was sure about this. Naruto affirmed that he was. He began recounting his birth on October 10th, the day the Nine Tails attacked Konoha. He explained that the fourth Hokage had sealed the beast within him, as it needed a newborn for the seal to work. Sasuke, intrigued, asked if that meant the beast was sealed inside him. Naruto confirmed it. Hinata questioned why it had to be him, and Naruto explained that the fourth needed a child but couldn't ask anyone else to sacrifice their own. Thus, he sealed the beast within his own son. Sasuke, shocked, realized that Naruto was the son of the fourth Hokage. Naruto then revealed that he was also the son of the Sage of Six Paths, activating his Rinne Sharingan. Kakashi was astonished and asked how that was possible. Naruto admitted he didn't fully understand it himself but explained that the sage and his sons had trained him. Sasuke asked who those sons were, and Naruto explained they were Ashura and Indra, the founders of the Senju and Uchiha clans. Sasuke realized that made Naruto the legitimate heir of the Uchiha clan. Naruto confirmed it but expressed his desire to unite the Otsutsuki clan, the first ninja clan, by merging the Uchiha, Uzumaki, and Senju clans. He asked Sasuke to take on the leadership of his clan. Sasuke agreed with a smile. Hinata, feeling left out, asked what her role would be. Naruto assured her that she would also take on leadership of her clan, and they would unite through marriage, explaining that her father had already made arrangements. Kakashi was surprised to learn that they were planning to marry. Naruto confirmed that it would happen after the Chunin exams. Sasuke suggested they head home, and Naruto agreed. A week later, Naruto woke up early and went downstairs. Tsunami greeted him, asking if he had just woken up. He stretched and confirmed that he had. Tsunami mentioned he was going out, and Naruto replied that he needed to train. She wished him goodbye, and he left. An hour later, Kakashi noted that Naruto was late and decided he would stay behind just as Naruto entered the house, smiling. Kakashi instructed Naruto to leave a shadow clone to watch over Tsunami and Inari while they headed to the bridge. Naruto agreed and left with his team and Tazuna after creating some shadow clones. Upon reaching the bridge, they spotted Zabuza engaged in a fierce battle with a man in a cloak wielding a wrapped sword. Zabuza, frustrated, demanded to know why Kisame was doing this, while Kisame insisted he was searching for someone and wanted to know where they were. With a smile, Haku launched an ice spear at Kisame, who skillfully dodged it and attempted a downward slash at Zabuza. Naruto intervened, blocking the attack with his sword. He looked at Kisame seriously, questioning his intentions. As Naruto tried to stab Kisame, the latter retreated, smirking as he acknowledged Naruto's presence. The tension escalated when Naruto appeared behind Kisame, ready to deliver a horizontal cut, but was saved by another man in a cloak, causing both to step back. Kisame thanked Itachi for the close call, while Itachi dismissed him with a curt response. Sasuke positioned himself next to Naruto, calling out to Itachi with urgency. Kisame inquired if Itachi knew Sasuke, to which Itachi revealed that Sasuke was his younger brother. Naruto greeted Itachi, noting it had been a while since they last met. As they exchanged movements, Itachi attempted a horizontal cut with a kunai, but Naruto dodged and continued his charge toward Kisame. Kisame, surprised, tried to counter with a downward strike, but Naruto evaded and formed a black Rasengan in his hand. The attack collided with Kisame's sword, which absorbed the Rasengan but left behind black flames on its bandage. Kisame, recognizing the power of his sword, Samehada, prepared to absorb more chakra. He boasted about Samehada's abilities, but Naruto countered, suggesting that natural chakra was more complex. Kisame, astonished, failed to notice Naruto charging at him. Just as Naruto was about to strike, Itachi intervened, stabbing Naruto with a kunai, only for him to vanish in a puff of smoke. A shadow clone of Naruto emerged from the ground behind Kisame. He declared his farewell as he pierced Kisame's chest with his sword, but Kisame transformed into water, revealing the real Kisame behind Naruto. Vowing revenge, Kisame unleashed a water shark towards Naruto, who countered with Kamui. Kisame was about to finish his sentence when Naruto swiftly severed his head with a strange sword. Itachi, bewildered, watched as Naruto rejoined his team. Sasuke, confused, questioned how Naruto had managed that. Zabuza smiled, impressed by the display. Kakashi acknowledged that they were no longer enemies, and Haku confirmed their peaceful intentions. Sasuke requested to capture Itachi himself, but Naruto reminded him that he wasn't strong enough yet. Sasuke confronted Itachi about the massacre of their clan, while Naruto urged him to focus on Sasuke's eyes, which had awakened the Sharingan. Itachi, sitting calmly on a tree, prepared to explain everything about the clan and Danzo, as well as Madara. Sasuke, filled with rage, vowed to kill Danzo. Naruto expressed disbelief that Madara could still be alive, and Itachi confirmed his suspicions about Madara's involvement in releasing the Nine Tails. Naruto clarified that the Nine Tails preferred to be called Kurama, and Itachi decided it was time for him to leave. He accepted a kunai from Naruto, which was imbued with Hiraishin chakra, before disappearing in a flock of crows. Kakashi called for Naruto and Sasuke to follow him, and Naruto agreed, leading Sasuke along. Days later, the bridge was completed, and Team 7 was preparing to depart. Tazuna asked what they should name the bridge, and Naruto suggested the Team 7 bridge, which Inari approved. Kakashi reminded them it was time to leave, and Naruto bid farewell to everyone. Upon arriving at Konoha, Sasuke remarked on their long journey. Kakashi directed them to the Hokage Tower for their report, while Hinata mentioned needing to return to her clan. Kakashi instructed them to wake up the guards, but just then, an Umbu appeared, requesting Naruto's presence at the council. Naruto vanished in a flash of red, reappearing before the council doors. Inside, he saw Karin, handcuffed and with a bruise on her lip. Danzo accused her of treason, and Naruto, furious, confronted him with his Sharingan activated. The tension in the room was palpable as Danzo was taken aback by Naruto's power. Naruto broke Karin's HIJO with ice and turned to Danzo, appearing behind him with his red-handled sword aimed at his heart, only for Danzo to vanish like an illusion. Danzo taunted Naruto, revealing his Sharingan collection, while Karin ensnared him with her diamond chains. Naruto praised her skills as he prepared to attack, but Danzo slipped away again. As the fight escalated, two Root Umbu appeared but were swiftly dispatched by Asuma. Together, Naruto and Asuma charged at Danzo, strategizing to defeat him multiple times due to his Sharingan's abilities. Naruto appeared behind Danzo, slicing his arm, but Danzo retaliated, revealing Shirsue's Mangekyo Sharingan and attempting to use Kodo Amatsukami. Naruto, undeterred, declared that the technique wouldn't work on him, revealing his Rinne Sharingan. Danzo, realizing the gravity of the situation, was struck with fear as Naruto prepared to end him. With a swift motion, Naruto extracted Danzo's soul, declaring his intention to return to the Hokage. As Naruto sped away, the others marveled at his speed, unable to keep up. Kakashi arrived, curious about Danzo's schemes, while Hayashi and Hiruzen discussed the implications of Naruto's newfound powers. Naruto returned with a smile, and an Umbu accompanied Haku, who expressed her disappointment at being left at the entrance. Naruto apologized, explaining he had important matters to attend to. Hiruzen inquired about Naruto's actions, to which Naruto replied that he had dealt with the Root Umbu and those who were still uncorrupted. Do not kill them. Kakashi remarked that Naruto was brilliant as always. Hiruzen inquired about a girl with them, and Naruto introduced Haku from Kirigakure, explaining that she would stay during the blood purges and that Zabuza Momochi would come after the Chunin exams to take him to help in the war. Hiruzen sighed and recalled a good question posed by Shikaku-san about Naruto's dojutsu abilities. Naruto revealed that he was the son of the Yondaime Hokage, prompting disbelief from a civil advisor who had been silent until then. Another advisor suggested that Naruto must have stolen the eyes from another Uchiha. Angered, Naruto told them to be quiet, insisting they shouldn't even be there. Hiruzen then encouraged Naruto to explain everything to the council. Afterward, Haku expressed her amazement, and Kakashi, with his signature smile, admitted he was also surprised. Hiruzen asked Kakashi if he had known, to which Kakashi replied he had learned during a recent mission in Kirigakure. Hiruzen instructed Naruto to show Haku around the village and then to meet at Training Field 44 at 5 p.m. Naruto agreed, inviting Haku to join him, and she blushed in response. At 5 p.m. in Training Field 7, Hiruzen informed Naruto that someone had arrived to see him. An older man entered, and Hiruzen introduced him as Jiraiya. Naruto recognized him as his godfather and the legendary Arrow Sennin. Jiraiya playfully scolded Naruto, and Hiruzen explained that Jiraiya wanted to have a match with him. Eager to start, Naruto stood in the center of the field, ready for the challenge. Jiraiya initiated the fight with a summoning jutsu, calling forth Pa and Ma to assist him. As Naruto activated his Sharingan, Jiraiya attempted to punch him, but Naruto dodged and appeared behind him in a flash. He aimed a strike at Jiraiya, who managed to block it, but the force sent Jiraiya flying into a tree, which broke upon impact. Jiraiya was astonished at Naruto's strength, noting he was stronger than Tsunade. Naruto explained that he was using Senjutsu, holding his sword to Jiraiya's neck. Jiraiya, impressed but confused, asked about the nature of Naruto's Senjutsu. Naruto clarified that it was a pure form of Senjutsu without interference from summons, making it harder to control but more powerful. Hiruzen added that Naruto's punch combined his strength with Senjutsu, similar to Tsunade's but with chakra from Senjutsu. Suddenly, a woman with purple hair appeared, and Hiruzen recognized her as Anko. She asked what they were doing there, and Hiruzen explained Jiraiya's desire for a match with Naruto. Naruto suggested they sit down, creating a wooden table for everyone. Jiraiya was surprised by Naruto's use of Mokuton. Hiruzen promised to explain later while sitting down with a smile. Naruto invited Anko to join them, but she mentioned she was missing something, thinking of Dango. Naruto agreed, vanishing in a burst of speed and returning with a bottle of sake and some dango. Anko was amazed by his speed, and Naruto handed her the dango before sitting down. Jiraiya asked about the sake, and Naruto explained it was good for conversation, especially since it was the old man's favorite. Hiruzen questioned how he knew that, and Naruto revealed he had found it hidden in Hiruzen's office along with an orange book. Anko teased him for being a brat as she took her sake. Naruto noted that being an Uzumaki gave him more resistance to alcohol, and Jiraiya shared that he had started drinking early as well. They all laughed, sharing a moment of camaraderie. Later, at the Uzumaki mansion, Naruto was asleep until he was awakened by someone knocking on his door. He groggily invited Karen in, and she sat beside him. Karen, feeling shy, had something to tell him. When she confessed her love for him, Naruto was surprised. She explained that she had loved him since he saved her. Naruto reminded her that he was in the CRA, but Karen insisted it didn't matter as long as she could be with him. He kissed her, and after a moment, pulled away to share something serious. He then explained the same information he had shared with Kakashi and his team. Karen was thrilled and embraced him, but Naruto noted he still needed to tell Ino. After a short while, Naruto arrived at Ino's house and knocked on the door, which was opened by Inoichi. He asked what Naruto needed, and Naruto inquired if Ino was home. Inoichi confirmed she was coming and closed the door. A few moments later, Ino appeared and greeted Naruto with a short kiss. Naruto then told her he had something important to discuss. Ino was curious, and Naruto explained the same details he had shared with Karen. Ino was amazed, and Naruto wondered why everyone reacted that way. He expressed a desire to speak with her parents about some political matters, and Ino agreed, leading him into the house. Once inside, they all sat at the table, with Ino to Naruto's right and her parents across from him. Ino's mother asked who he was, and Naruto introduced himself as Ino's boyfriend, making Ino blush. Inoichi asked what Naruto wanted to discuss, and Ino revealed she already knew about the CRA. Inoichi explained it was the Clan Restoration Act, which required Naruto to marry multiple women to rebuild a clan. Naruto confirmed this was the topic of discussion, stating he wanted to ask for Ino's hand in marriage. Inoichi reacted angrily, refusing. Ino's mother, however, supported Ino's wishes, which caused tension. Naruto respectfully pointed out that he was the least of a child at the table, having lived alone since he was 5 due to the Kyuubi. Inoichi dismissed this, stating that Naruto had never killed anyone. Naruto challenged him, reminding him of his training journey where he earned a name for himself. Ino was intrigued and asked what name he had earned. With a smile, Naruto revealed he was known as a Kaisher. Inoichi was skeptical, claiming only one person had survived that, and Naruto confirmed it was Zabuza, mentioning that Haku was his student. Ino was surprised to hear Haku's name. Curious, she asked about Naruto staying at the Uzumaki mansion during the civil war in Kirigakure. Mrs. Yamanaka granted permission for him to be with Ino, while Inoichi added that if Naruto harmed his daughter, he would have to answer for it. Just then, someone knocked on the door. Mrs. Yamanaka opened it to reveal an Umbu. The Umbu informed them that the Hokage needed Naruto before leaving. Naruto, after giving Ino a quick kiss, disappeared in a flash of red. At the Hokage tower, Naruto knocked on the door. Hiruzen called for him to enter. Upon entering, Naruto saw his grandfather and Yugao. Hiruzen explained that Naruto would be going on a mission with Yugao, which had the potential to escalate to an S-rank mission. They needed to rescue Heiate Gecko from a camp believed to be occupied by ninjas from Kumogakure. Hiruzen assigned Naruto the responsibility of the mission. Yugao questioned the Hokage's decision, but Hiruzen insisted they leave quickly, handing Naruto a scroll containing all the information about the camp. Naruto, eager to get started, called for Yugao, and they set off. After a few minutes of running toward the camp, Naruto spoke up, asking if Heiate was still Yugao's boyfriend. Yugao replied that he was no longer her boyfriend. Apologizing for the awkwardness, Naruto suggested they take a short break. They stopped, and Naruto pulled out a sword from a scroll, strapping it to his back with a smile. When Yugao inquired about the sword, he revealed it was the same one she had gifted him. She asked about the other gifts, and he explained that the one from his grandfather no longer fit him, and Kakashi's mask had broken during his travels. With a smile, Yugao urged him to hurry. Naruto playfully scooped Yugao up in a bridal carry, running swiftly toward the camp. Flustered, she asked what he was doing and he explained it would get them there faster, offering to set her down if she preferred. Blushing, she agreed to stay in his arms. Moments later, they arrived at the camp. Naruto set Yugao down and suggested they observe Heiate's situation to see if they could rescue him without confrontation. However, he soon realized that Heiate was not a captive but a traitor, wearing a Kumogakure bandana. Yugao was furious, and Naruto instructed her to confront Heiate while he protected her from the other ninjas. As they prepared for battle, Naruto vanished in a flash of red, swiftly taking down most of the enemies, leaving only 2 alive. He teleported them outside the camp, where they faced over 100 ninjas. Yugao, drawing her sword, was ready to fight. Heiate charged at her, attempting a downward slash, which she blocked with her katana. She countered with a strike aimed at his heart, but he dodged and retaliated with a cut to her arm. Yugao cursed under her breath. As she charged at Heiate again, he tried to block, but she was faster, stabbing him in the chest. However, he vanished in a puff of smoke. The real Heiate appeared behind Yugao, poised to strike her down. In a flash of red, Naruto intervened, blocking Heiate's attack and swiftly stabbing him in the heart. Just then, the 2 ninjas Naruto had spared earlier reappeared. One introduced himself as the indomitable Yondaime Raikage, and the other as his brother, Killer Bee. Naruto introduced himself as Naruto, the Akaishur. They instructed B to leave, explaining that Naruto was the son of the Yondaime Hokage. Understanding the situation, B bid farewell to Naruto, who also said his goodbyes before disappearing in a flash of red. A short distance from Konoha, Naruto and Yugao found themselves in a meadow by a lake. Concerned, Naruto asked if she was alright, noticing her downcast expression. When he inquired if she was upset about HIJO, she insisted she was not, explaining that she felt she had done nothing to help. Naruto reassured her of her importance to him and suggested they head back to the village to talk. Once they returned to the Hokage Tower, Naruto reported their mission's outcome to Hiruzen, who allowed them to leave. Outside the tower, Naruto asked Yugao if she wanted to grab a bite to eat, to which she agreed. At Ichiraku, Naruto greeted Tsuchi with a smile and ordered a miso ramen. Ayam arrived and cheerfully asked how he was doing. Naruto replied that everything was going great, but he felt something was missing. Tsuchi teasingly suggested he needed a girlfriend, to which Naruto shyly admitted he actually had one, and then clarified that he had multiple fiancées to restore his clan. Curious, Ayam asked if all his fiancées had to be kunoichi. Naruto explained that it wasn't necessary, and when Tsuchi playfully inquired if he liked a civilian, Naruto admitted he did, but she didn't see him that way. As he finished his ramen, Ayam pressed for the girl's name, but Naruto, blushing, kept it a secret before leaving the establishment. As he departed, Ayam waved goodbye, and Tsuchi, entering the kitchen, jokingly expressed his reluctance to become a grandfather too soon. Grito blushed. Meanwhile, Naruto had arrived at the training field, where the sounds of metal clashing echoed around him. He decided to investigate. Upon arrival, he saw Enko fighting against two other ninjas from Konoha. One ninja shouted angrily, demanding Enko to stay still. Enko muttered a curse under her breath. The second ninja threatened her, but before he could act, Naruto swiftly intervened, taking him down. The first ninja attempted to strike Naruto, but he dodged and incapacitated him with a well-placed kunai. Concerned for Enko, Naruto turned to her as she embraced him from behind. He asked if she was alright and she thanked him, calling him Foxy-kun. In a puff of smoke, Naruto disappeared and reappeared behind her, wrapping his arms around her once more. However, he noticed a cursed mark on her body, prompting him to inquire about it. Enko dismissed it, trying to cover the mark and step away from him. Naruto insisted that it was a cursed mark and offered to remove it if she wished. Reluctantly, Enko agreed and sat down in a lotus position. Naruto warned her that it might hurt as he placed his hand on the mark and activated his Rinne Sharingan. He asked if she was ready, and she nervously confirmed. Using his abilities, Naruto extracted Orochimaru's essence and placed a counterseal, causing the cursed mark to vanish. Enko, weakened from the pain, fainted. Naruto carried her and asked for her home address. After she provided it and handed him the key, she lost consciousness. Minutes later, at Enko's home, Naruto gently placed her on the bed and decided to prepare a meal, mentioning that he hadn't eaten well at Ichiraku's. After an hour, Enko began to stir and made her way to the living room where Naruto was. Surprised to see her awake, Naruto explained that after removing the cursed mark, she had asked him to bring her there. Enko, still confused, asked what he had made. He proudly announced that he had prepared curry, hoping she would like it. As they sat down to eat, Enko complimented the meal, rubbing her stomach in satisfaction. After finishing, Naruto prepared to leave, stating he had some things to do. Minutes later, at Ino's house, Naruto knocked on the door, which was opened by Inoichi. He asked if Ino was home, and Inoichi went to fetch her. When Ino appeared, she greeted Naruto with curiosity. He mentioned wanting to train with her, smiling. Ino was surprised that he wouldn't be training himself, but he assured her he was strong enough. She expressed disappointment at not being alone with him, but he informed her that Karen and Haku would also join them. They agreed to meet the next day at Training Field 7. 3 weeks passed since that day. As Naruto walked through the village, he noticed a peculiar square rock following him. He called out to Konohamaru, who was behind it. Suddenly, the rock exploded, revealing 3 children. Konohamaru remarked that there had been too much gunpowder, while Moegi agreed, suggesting Udon had added too much. Udon defended himself, crossing his arms. Konohamaru then declared it was time to introduce themselves, and they struck poses as Team Konohamaru. Just then, Sakura approached Naruto, asking if he had seen Sasuke. He replied that he hadn't. Konohamaru, curious, asked if Sakura was Naruto's girlfriend, to which Naruto responded with a look of disbelief. Realizing Sakura was angry, he warned Konohamaru to run. The boy dashed away, chased by Sakura. As he turned a corner, he collided with a man who grabbed him by his shirt. Naruto, seeing the situation escalate, demanded the man to let Konohamaru go. The man, Kankuro, questioned Naruto's authority, but Temari urged him to lower the boy. Kankuro raised his arm to strike, but felt a sharp pressure at his neck. Naruto warned him to release Konohamaru or face serious consequences. At that moment, Sasuke appeared, prompting Kankuro to let go of Konohamaru. Naruto then instructed Kankuro to back off, sheathing his weapon. Gaara, perched on a nearby tree, expressed his disdain for Kankuro's actions. Naruto decided it was time to leave, turning away. Gaara asked for Naruto's name, and he introduced himself. Gaara ominously declared that Naruto would experience his existence. Naruto dismissed him, vanishing in a flash of red light alongside Sasuke, as their sensei awaited them. Upon arrival, Kakashi informed them that the Chunin exam would begin in 2 days. He instructed them to collect their permission slips and submit them at the Ninja Academy. The exam would take place in room 301, and all participants needed to be present. The next day, Naruto and his team stood in front of the Ninja Academy. He led them inside. Arriving at room, Sasuke whispered to his team that it was a genjutsu, but Naruto corrected him, stating that the real room was upstairs. Once they entered the actual room 301, Kiba greeted them. Naruto noted that they were all present just as Ino leaped onto him. Karen ordered Ino to get down, and she complied. Naruto confirmed that everyone was there when Sakura jumped onto Sasuke, who skillfully dodged her. Just then, a Konoha ninja named Kabuto entered, advising them to keep the noise down to avoid attracting attention. Kiba retorted, calling him "for eyes." Naruto asked what brought Kabuto there, and he revealed he had information about the participants, showing them some cards. Sasuke requested to know about Gaara, while Kiba inquired about a ninja in a green suit. Naruto chimed in, mentioning Rock Lee, whom he had seen around the village. In Naruto's subconscious, Kurama sensed the presence of his brothers, prompting Naruto to ask who he meant. Kurama informed Naruto about Matatabi, the two-tailed beast, residing within a girl from the hidden cloud village. Naruto questioned if that was the only one, to which Kurama replied that Shikaku, the one-tailed beast, was within Gaara, a boy from the sand village, and he sensed the eight-tailed beast in the village as well. Naruto decided to speak with them after the Chunin exam, before reaching the finals. Kurama acknowledged his plan, calling him a pup. Outside of Naruto's subconscious, he opened his eyes just in time to see Kabuto preparing to share information. Naruto thought about how time seemed to pass slowly in his subconscious as he focused on what Kabuto would say next. Kabuto began with Rock Lee, displaying his information card. He noted that Rock Lee had completed 20 D-rank missions and 11 C-rank missions, trained under Might Guy, and was teamed with Niji Hyuga and Tenten. Kabuto mentioned that Rock Lee specialized in taijutsu, but his other skills were lacking. Kiba then inquired about Gaara. Kabuto shared that Gaara from the desert had experience in 8 C-rank missions and 1 B-rank mission, which was impressive. Kiba asked about D-rank missions, but Kabuto admitted he wasn't sure how many Gaara had completed and mentioned that his siblings, Kankuro and Temari, were on his team. Shino, remaining stoic, asked about Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto was curious about what Kabuto had to say regarding him. Kabuto revealed that Naruto's team included Sasuke Uchiha, Hinata Hyuga, and Karen Uzumaki, noting the unusual size of their team. He detailed Naruto's mission experience: 10 D-rank missions, 10 C-rank missions, no B-rank missions, and 1 A-rank mission, emphasizing the impressive nature of his skills. Naruto suspected that Kabuto had obtained this information through dubious means and planned to send a wooden clone to inform the Hokage. Kabuto concluded his briefing just as Ibiki Marino, the proctor, appeared. He introduced himself and instructed everyone to take a seat and prepare for an exam, warning them not to flip their papers until he said so. After everyone settled, Ibiki explained the rules. There would be 9 questions, and a 10th would be given with 10 minutes remaining. Cheating would result in a 2-point deduction, and incorrect answers would cost 1 point, starting from a total of 10. With that, the exam began. After 5 minutes, Naruto completed his exam, relieved that Kurama had advised him to study. Kurama informed him that his wooden clone had reached the Hokage Tower, and Naruto was pleased that his clones could travel across the land. They settled in to wait. 50 minutes later, Ibiki prepared to announce the final question but mentioned there were a couple more rules to consider. Meanwhile, the 3 Jonin senseis from Konoha were seen discussing the exam. Kakashi remarked on how quiet it was without the students, almost missing them. Asuma reassured him that he would see them sooner than he thought, revealing that the first proctor was Ibiki Marino. Kurenai, new to the group, inquired about Ibiki, and Asuma explained that he was a specialist, to which Kakashi casually added that he specialized in psychological tactics rather than physical torture. Kurenai questioned Kakashi's calm demeanor, to which he replied that the students were capable of copying techniques. Asuma clarified that this was the essence of the exam, and Kakashi noted that Naruto was also a factor. Kurenai asked what was special about Naruto, and Asuma referred to him as a demon, while Kakashi recounted how Naruto, at just 3 years old, had been able to infiltrate and evade Chunin without being detected. Asuma added that by 4 he was already being pursued by Anbu, knowing the village like the back of his hand. Kurenai expressed her amazement and asked about Naruto's current abilities. Kakashi confidently stated that he was now beyond Jiraiya's level, prompting Asuma to ask about Jiraiya himself. Naruto believed that he had seen Kurenai train 10 times, and it was truly impressive. Kurenai expressed her hope that Naruto wouldn't face one of her students in the exam. Back at the exam, Ibiki informed everyone that it was their choice whether to answer the question. Temari asked what would happen if they chose not to take it, to which Ibiki replied that they would fail. However, if they attempted it and answered incorrectly, they would never be able to retake the Chunin exam. Kiba remarked that it was nonsense, pointing out that several had already retaken it. Ibiki chuckled, suggesting that those who failed simply had bad luck, but if they didn't want to take the risk, they could leave. After several candidates departed, Ibiki congratulated those who remained, stating they had passed. Sakura was taken aback by the announcement. Ibiki then explained the same rules as in the anime. Suddenly, a kunai flew through the window, attached to a sign that read, "The CC and not-so-single Anko Mitarashi." Naruto recognized Anko and she greeted him, mentioning the training field 44 before disappearing in a flash. Naruto, along with his companions, vanished in a red burst of light. Sasuke noted that he had been left behind and rushed toward training field. Once everyone arrived and the test was explained, they opened the door. Moments later, a ninja from the grass village appeared before them. Naruto, smiling, greeted Orochimaru, who ominously beckoned him forward. Hinata and Karen recognized Orochimaru as the legendary Sannin. Naruto bid farewell to his team before focusing on Orochimaru, who warned him that they would see what would happen next. Naruto activated his Mangekyo Sharingan and disappeared in a flash, reappearing behind Orochimaru and delivering a kick to his stomach that caught him off guard. Orochimaru staggered back and drew his Kusanagi sword, grinning as he declared it the best weapon. Naruto responded that it was time for Kenjutsu, drawing his own black sword. He declared it was time for Orochimaru to meet his end. Naruto executed a horizontal slash, which Orochimaru blocked, but the sword shattered, leaving a cut on Orochimaru. Surprised, Orochimaru recognized the weapon as Kachiken, the blade that destroys everything it touches. Naruto confirmed this and prepared to finish Orochimaru, but before he could strike, Orochimaru vanished, leaving a clone in his place. Frustrated, Naruto decided to regroup with his team. On his way, Naruto encountered a ninja, defeated him, and took his scroll. After rejoining his team, they entered the tower. Naruto suggested they open the scrolls. Sasuke agreed and quickly began to do so. As Naruto grabbed one, Kakashi appeared, congratulating them and instructing them to wait inside. Naruto approached Kakashi, asking him to notify him when Gaara and Yujito arrived. Kakashi agreed and told him to get some rest. The next day, the Jinchuriki of the One Tail and Two Tails arrived. Kakashi informed Naruto that he had spoken with the Hokage. Naruto expressed his desire to speak with the Jinchuriki. Hiruzen permitted him to go to the Sand Village and assured him he would speak with the others. Grateful, Naruto hugged Hiruzen before heading out. After a few minutes, the other Jinchuriki arrived. Gaara asked what Naruto wanted, and Naruto expressed his wish to talk with his brothers. B was surprised by this, and Naruto explained that he considered all the Jinchuriki as brothers. Yujito inquired about the purpose of the meeting, and Naruto suggested they all gather together, extending his fist in front of them. B and Yujito bumped fists with him, and Gaara joined in as well. Inside the mental space of the Jinchuriki, Naruto confirmed that they were all present and looked at the Bijou. B noted that they were indeed all there. Kurama affectionately called Naruto a puppy, and Naruto acknowledged it. Yujito asked what he had seen, and Naruto called Gaara forward, placing a hand on his seal. He performed the Uzumaki sealing technique, opening the bars of Shikaku's prison. Gaara, feeling exhausted, asked what Naruto had done. Naruto explained that he had updated his seal, allowing him to rest. He then informed B and Yujito that he would do the same for them. After updating their seals, Matatabi stretched and expressed her relief at being free. Kurama remarked that it was always like this. Shikaku questioned why they were freed by a mere human, to which Kurama replied that Naruto was chosen by their father. Gyuki added that sometimes humans could be good. Naruto concluded that it was time to let them talk and exited the subconscious space with the others. B noted that he sensed Gyuki's chakra within Naruto, and Yujito and Gaara confirmed they felt it too. Naruto explained that he possessed the chakra of all the Bijou, which was why Kurama appeared white. B remarked that it explained everything. Afterward, the preliminaries began. Hiruzen announced that they needed to hold a preliminary exam to reduce the number of participants. He asked if anyone wished to withdraw at that moment, and Kabuto stepped forward, expressing his desire to leave. Hiruzen acknowledged him and asked if anyone else wanted to withdraw. After a brief silence, he instructed everyone to take their seats, as the opponents would be displayed on the screen. Once everyone was seated, the first combatants appeared on the screen. The matches unfolded as follows. Niji Hyuga faced Misumi Tsurugi, with Niji emerging victorious. Dosu Kinyuta battled Yujito Ni, with Yujito winning. Gaara faced Choji Akimichi, winning by forfeit, and Sasuke Uchiha prepared to fight Rock Lee. Sasuke confidently declared it would be easy, but Naruto warned him to be cautious before he stepped into the arena. As they took their positions, Lee excitedly proclaimed that he would demonstrate how hard work surpasses natural talent. Sasuke responded with a challenge, and the censor declared the match to begin. From the stands, Naruto shouted a serious warning to Sasuke not to use his full power. Sasuke acknowledged it just before dodging a kick from Rock Lee, countering with a punch that Lee evaded, retaliating with a punch to Sasuke's stomach, which he narrowly avoided by jumping back. Sasuke arrogantly remarked that Lee was good, but not good enough. Lee, determined, prepared to unleash his signature move, the Leaf Hurricane. Sasuke received a full circular kick, but quickly got back up and looked at Naruto. He expressed his seriousness about needing to use his special technique, but Naruto firmly told him no. Sasuke, resigned, acknowledged the situation, thinking to himself about how difficult it was to see without his Sharingan. Lee attempted to punch Sasuke in the face, but Sasuke dodged and countered with a punch to Lee's stomach, which Lee took directly. Afterward, Lee jumped back to create some space. In the stands, Tenten exclaimed that it was impossible for Lee to hit Sasuke. Guy encouraged Lee to shake off the weight, reminding him that he had said it was an exception. Lee, unsure but trusting Guy, jumped onto the shinobi statue and removed the weights from his feet, creating an impressive hole in the ground. Naruto smiled, amazed by Lee's strength. Tenten noted that Sasuke now had no chance. Naruto urged Sasuke to remove his weights as well, and Sasuke complied, jumping against the wall using his chakra to remove 2 weights, also creating a significant hole. Guy praised the display, while Kakashi, watching the fight with his Sharingan, clarified that he hadn't trained Sasuke in physical skills. Guy asked who had trained him, and Kakashi revealed that Naruto had been the one to help Sasuke, pointing out the results in the ongoing battle. After that, Sasuke performed a hand sign and shouted, activating a resistance seal. Naruto explained that it restricted movements, making them feel as if they were underwater. Guy noted that he used similar seals for training but found it impressive at their age. Once Sasuke removed the seals, he charged at Lee, who did the same. Lee attempted a kick to Sasuke's face, but Sasuke dodged and delivered a series of strikes to Lee's body, eventually sending him crashing into the wall. Guy encouraged Lee to keep going, giving him a thumbs up. As Lee got back up, he struck a special pose and activated his chakra, which became visible. Sasuke was astonished by the display. Kakashi warned Guy about the potential of Lee's technique, but Guy insisted that Kakashi didn't understand Lee fully. Naruto chimed in, explaining that while Lee could open the inner gates, Sasuke would rely on his Sharingan. Sasuke activated his Sharingan, and after a series of exchanges, he landed a precise blow to Lee's back, who was now fatigued. Naruto urged Guy to stop the fight, seeing Lee's exhaustion. Guy agreed, and after declaring Sasuke the winner, they moved on to the next match. The subsequent matches included a tie between Yoroi Akado and Akumo Ninja, Temari defeating Kiba Inuzuka, and Naruto winning against Omoi. Ino faced Sakura next, and as they began, Ino quickly gained the upper hand. She urged Sakura to surrender, but Sakura insisted she would win for Sasuke. Ino swiftly executed a distraction, landing a kick to Sakura's stomach, leaving her momentarily stunned before using a technique from her clan to knock Sakura out. In the next match, Karen Uzumaki started with a water jutsu, sending water bullets toward Samui, who countered with her tanto. Karen used the opportunity to position herself behind Samui and attempted another jutsu, but Samui managed to evade and counter with a strike that forced Karen to vanish in a puff of smoke. Samui, realizing she was in danger, called out her shadow clone technique just before a kunai grazed her neck, leading her to concede. The matches continued with Kankuro losing to Darui, Shikamaru defeating Kin, and Shino triumphing over Zaku. After an hour, Naruto was summoned to the Hokage Tower. Hiruzen informed Naruto that he and his team would escort the Reikage. Naruto confirmed their readiness, and Hiruzen instructed them to leave in an hour. Once gathered at the entrance of Konoha, Naruto cheerfully led the way, while Kakashi reminded him to show respect during the escort. Upon meeting the Reikage, Naruto presented the letter that had been sent to Konoha. The Reikage, dismissing the formalities, accepted the letter. As Naruto turned to his team, he suddenly blocked a punch from the Reikage, who expressed his desire to fight Naruto. Naruto agreed, and Kakashi cautioned him against making reckless decisions. As they prepared to fight, Naruto created a Rasengan and charged at the Reikage, who dodged but was quickly met with Naruto's speed. The Reikage recognized Naruto's technique and activated his lightning armor. Naruto, activating his Sharingan, prepared for the next exchange. The two clashed, their punches colliding with force. Naruto landed a solid hit to the Reikage's stomach before stepping back. The Reikage conceded, acknowledging Naruto's victory. Days later in Konoha, Naruto and his team delivered their report to the Hokage and found themselves in training field. Sasuke questioned their purpose there, while Yugao and Ino expressed their confusion about their presence. Naruto explained that they were there to train, with Yugao supervising them. He pointed towards the other Jinchuriki. Naruto noted that they would train alongside their Bijou. A week later, Naruto was wandering through the village when he sensed something. He realized it was Yugao's chakra and it felt weak. Following the source of the chakra, he found Baki, Gaara's sensei, about to harm Yugao. Naruto rushed in front of her, taking the force of the attack that sent him flying to her side. Yugao expressed her concern for Naruto's well-being. He reassured her, telling her to relax as he drew his sword. She urged him to be careful. With determination, Naruto made a swift upward slash towards the Jounin, who managed to evade it. He then declared his intent to finish the fight, adjusting his sword for a move aimed at Baki's chest. Realizing he still needed Baki alive, Naruto decided to take him to the hospital first for interrogation. Yugao thanked him and gave him a quick kiss before heading to inform the Hokage. Afterward, Baki reported the attack, and the Hokage communicated with the Sand Village, which was without its Kage. Together, they devised a strategy where the Sand Village would assist Konoha in battle, ensuring their alliance remained strong and agreeing to aid in the execution of the Kazekage. During this time, Naruto and the other Jinchuriki formed friendships. It was also confirmed that Kabuto was a traitor, but he managed to escape before capture. The Chunin exam finals began. All participants gathered in the arena. The censor announced that they would begin, and the combatants would be displayed on the screen while the others moved to the stands. The screen revealed Rock Lee of Konoha, Naruto Uzumaki of Konoha. The censor instructed Rock Lee and Naruto to remain in the arena while the others took their seats. Once alone, Naruto and Rock Lee began their fight. Naruto charged directly at Lee, who jumped back, prompting Naruto to stop in confusion. Lee explained that he needed to fight seriously, removing his weights. Naruto smiled, anticipating a good match. Lee initiated the attack, launching a punch towards Naruto's stomach, which Naruto dodged, countering with a kick to Lee's chest. Lee absorbed the hit but quickly retaliated with a kick aimed at Naruto's face, which Naruto easily avoided as Lee jumped back again. Lee declared it was time to fight seriously. Suddenly, a green glow and smoke began to emanate from him as he shouted about opening the fourth inner gate. He lunged at Naruto, who barely managed to evade the strike. Naruto realized he would also need to get serious, revealing his own advanced technique. Confused, Naruto declared that he was the legacy of the fourth Hokage as he attacked Lee, who barely managed to defend himself despite opening the fourth gate. Naruto warned Lee that if he stayed in that state for too long, he could be seriously injured. Lee, filled with determination, insisted that he must prove that effort surpasses natural talent. Naruto understood and acknowledged the truth in Lee's words, but he had trained much harder. In a flash, he disappeared and reappeared behind Lee, attempting to strike him, but Lee dodged the attack. Impressed, Naruto stated that Lee could no longer do anything and touched the ground with his palms open. He then summoned a wooden prison to ensnare Lee. Lee, struggling to break free, found that branches emerged from the bars, trapping him and draining his chakra until he lost consciousness. Next battle, Shikamaru vs. Temari. Next battle, Niji Hyuga vs. Hinata Hyuga. As they descended into the arena, Niji advised Hinata to withdraw, striking a famous Hyuga pose. Hinata agreed, and they prepared for battle. Niji launched multiple strikes, but Hinata evaded them effortlessly. Activating his Byakugan, Niji declared it was time to get serious. Hinata activated her Byakugan as well. Niji attempted to strike Hinata in the chest, but she dodged and countered with 2 hits to his stomach. Niji quickly executed the 8 trigrams rotation, sending Hinata flying as the technique connected. When she got back up, she faced Niji's main technique. Niji unleashed the 8 trigrams 64 palms, delivering a rapid series of strikes. After enduring the technique, Hinata slowly rose to her feet. In the stands, Hayashi expressed his astonishment at the technique. Hanabi asked if it completely closed off chakra flow, to which Hayashi confirmed that Hinata had lost. Back in the arena, Hinata remarked that the technique was very effective if one didn't know how to stop it, but if familiar with it, it was quite easy to counter. She assumed a stance similar to Niji's but with slight modifications. Niji was shocked to see that none of his chakra points were closed. Hinata announced it was time for her own technique, charging her palms with electricity and declaring the 8 trigrams 128 palms. After completing the series of strikes, Niji fell, breathing heavily and unable to move before collapsing. Next battle, Shino vs. Sasuke. Both opponents took their combat stances. Sasuke began striking rapidly at Shino, who defended himself with his insects. However, Sasuke enveloped his hands in fire chakra, incinerating Shino's insects, leading Shino to concede. Next battle, Darui vs. Karen. Karen initiated the fight with an attack on Darui, who blocked it with his weapon. In a moment of distraction, Karen managed to disarm Darui and throw his weapon aside. Darui, frustrated, attempted to strike Karen, but she blocked every attack until she landed a blow to his stomach, leaving him breathless. Darui jumped back, forming hand seals and unleashing a storm technique that summoned a Black Panther toward Karen. She countered by sealing the attack with a scroll. Karen then summoned her diamond chains to attack Darui, who evaded by jumping back but was soon ensnared by other chains. After this, Darui conceded. Next battle, Ino vs Yujito. Ino started the fight by attempting to strike Yujito, who easily dodged and activated her bijou cloak. Ino retreated to perform a technique from her clan, but Yujito interrupted her with an attack, launching a barrage of small blue fireballs. Ino tried to shield herself with a wall of water, but the fireballs evaporated it. She was later taken to the infirmary, where Naruto healed her. Next battle, Gaara vs Naruto. Naruto activated his Sharingan and created a Raikiri to strike Gaara, who shielded himself with sand. Naruto swiftly penetrated the sand, grazing Gaara's cheek. As Gaara began to transform into Shikaku, civilians were evacuated to safety. The Raikage and Hokage pursued the Kazekage to the rooftop, where they were enveloped by a purple barrier. Naruto instructed Sasuke to handle the sound ninjas while he assisted the Hokage. Sasuke, eager for action, activated his Mangekyo Sharingan, which he had attained with the help of Itachi and Naruto. Gaara reverted to his human form, allowing him to move more freely as he and his brothers defended themselves. Naruto joined the Raikage and Hokage, realizing that the Kazekage was Orochimaru. He declared that Orochimaru would die today, activating his Rinne Sharingan. Orochimaru, with a sinister laugh, summoned 5 coffins from the ground. The first revealed Hashirama Senju, the second Tobirama Senju, the third Mito Uzumaki, the fourth Kushina Uzumaki, and the fifth Minato Uchiha. Orochimaru taunted Naruto, who responded by performing a sealing technique, creating a black sword. After completing the seals, 5 green spheres emerged from the sword, targeting each of the reanimated individuals. As the spheres entered them, the Edo Tensei marks vanished, and they returned to life. Hiruzen expressed his amazement at the sight. Tobirama, serious, questioned Hiruzen. Hashirama asked what was happening. Naruto activated his Mangekyo Sharingan, placing everyone in a genjutsu to show how he had revived them. He then declared that Orochimaru would die, plunging his new sword into Orochimaru's chest. Orochimaru vowed to return, but Naruto denied it, absorbing his soul with his Rinne Sharingan. Afterward, the barrier dissipated, and the remaining sound ninjas retreated upon realizing their leader had fallen. Tobirama pointed at Minato, asking who he was. Minato introduced himself as the 4th Hokage. Naruto embraced his father, declaring him as such. Kushina joined in, embracing both her son and husband. Mito, confused, asked Hashirama if it was really him. Hashirama joyfully confirmed her identity. Tobirama noted that everyone was acquainted except for Naruto, who introduced himself as Naruto Otsutsuki. Hashirama was surprised at the mention of the Otsutsuki clan, the original clan of the shinobi world and the founder of the Uzumaki, Uchiha and Senju clans. Tobirama responded with a serious acknowledgement. Mito looked at Kushina and embraced her, expressing how long it had been since they last saw each other. Hashirama, surprised, called out to Kushina. Mito playfully nudged Hashirama, reminding him that they were talking about their granddaughter. Naruto announced that he would be leaving, saying he would visit Yujito and B. Hiruzen, setting aside the introductions, asked what their next steps would be. Naruto stated that they needed a new Hokage, as he doubted any of them wanted to return to that role. The former Hokages firmly disagreed with the idea of returning. Naruto then inquired about who would be the new Hokage. Jiraiya suggested that Tsunade should take on the role, arriving from the battlefield. Hashirama expressed his support for Tsunade, and Mito agreed, stating it was a good idea. Tobirama added that Mito was right, affirming that Tsunade would make a great Hokage. Naruto asked when they would go, and Hiruzen replied that Naruto needed to help the resistance in Kirigakure first. Minato, confused, asked about the resistance, and Naruto explained everything that had happened while they were gone. Minato was taken aback, realizing Naruto intended to go to war. Kushina immediately objected, but Hiruzen pointed out that Naruto was likely the strongest among them. Tobirama then asked about the hooded figure that attacked the village, curious about their identity. Naruto speculated that it could be Obito Uchiha. Minato was shocked, insisting that Obito was dead, but Naruto explained that he could have survived, noting the similarity in their chakra. Kushina asked who Kurama was, and Naruto clarified that Kurama was the true name of the Nine Tails. Hinata arrived, surprised to see all the Hokages gathered. Naruto embraced her, explaining that it was a long story. Ino pointed at the Hokages, asking who they were, and Naruto explained they were the former Hokages, repeating his earlier sentiment with Hinata. Ino was confused, and Naruto reiterated that it was a long story. Karen then jumped on Naruto, surprising everyone as she kissed him. Naruto acknowledged her affection, while Yugao approached and received a gentle kiss from him as well. Sasuke, curious, asked what had happened, and Naruto promised to explain once Kakashi arrived. When Kakashi appeared, Minato greeted him with a smile. Kakashi asked Naruto what was going on, and Naruto simply stated that he had revived everyone. Kushina then questioned why Naruto had kissed all the girls, and Minato thought to himself that Naruto was in trouble. Naruto, feeling the pressure, explained that they were his girlfriends, and Kushina resigned herself to the situation. Karen found the situation strange, and everyone nodded in agreement. Hiruzen informed Naruto that he would be leaving with his team to assist the resistance in Kirigakure, which included Ino, Yugao, and Haku. Naruto agreed, and Ino mentioned she needed to inform her father before they left. After Ino departed, Naruto told everyone it was time to sleep and began to leave. Hashirama asked where they would sleep, and Naruto suggested that Sasuke could accommodate Hashirama, Mito, and Tobirama in his complex. Sasuke agreed, and Naruto mentioned that his parents would stay at the Uzumaki mansion. The next day, at the entrance of the Uzumaki mansion, an ANBU member knocked on the door until Naruto answered. The ANBU informed him that the Hokage required his presence before vanishing in a puff of smoke. Naruto acknowledged this and reappeared at the entrance of the Hokage tower in a flash of red. Upon entering the Hokage's office, Naruto asked what was needed, noticing a shinobi from Kirigakure. Hiruzen explained that the shinobi had come to request help from Konohagakure for the resistance on behalf of Zabuza. Naruto confirmed his understanding, and Hiruzen appointed him as the mission leader, instructing him that his team would be waiting outside in 5 minutes alongside Ao. Naruto quickly disappeared using his Kamui and reappeared at his home. After 5 minutes at the entrance of Konoha, Naruto told his team they needed to move quickly to Kirigakure and instructed the genin to remove their weights. Once they arrived in Kirigakure, Ao guided them to a hidden underground passage. After reaching the resistance, Ao informed Naruto that they could explore the area, but he needed to speak with Mei. Naruto calmly requested Ao to lead the way. Entering the small room where the leader of the resistance worked, Ao introduced Naruto to Mei. She acknowledged him, noting that Zabuza had said he was the strongest person she knew, even more powerful than herself. Naruto confirmed that Zabuza was correct, maintaining a calm demeanor. Ao asked if Naruto was sure about his strength. Mei expressed her doubts as she informed Naruto that the next day they would test his skills alongside his team. Naruto agreed, catching a lava ball thrown by Mei, which transformed into ice upon contact. He smiled and remarked that it wasn't very polite to attack allies. Ao thought to himself that this kid was quite impressive, while Zabuza proudly complimented Naruto. Curious, Naruto turned to Zabuza and asked when they would be leaving. Zabuza explained that he, Mei, Chujiro, and Ao would be testing him the following day, and he should head to the resistance center where his team was waiting. Naruto confirmed he would do so and mentioned he would create a house using his wood-release technique, assuring Zabuza not to worry. As Naruto was about to settle down with his team, Yugao playfully asked if she could sleep with him. Ino quickly interjected, claiming she should be the one. Hinata shyly expressed her desire to sleep next to Naruto, while Karen insisted that it should be her. Haku, blushing, also wanted to join. Naruto suggested they all sleep in the same bed, which made Yugao smile mischievously. They entered a room with a large bed, and Ino closed the door, placing a privacy seal. Outside, Kakashi comically lamented Naruto's luck, while Sasuke expressed his frustration about wanting a girlfriend but feeling overshadowed by Naruto's charm. Kakashi suggested they go to sleep, and Sasuke reluctantly agreed. The next day, Naruto stood ready to fight against Ao, Zabuza, Mei, and Chujiro. Mei quickly initiated the battle with a dragon made of lava. Naruto skillfully dodged it, while Ao warned him from behind. Zabuza intervened, kicking Ao aside to protect him from a kunai Naruto had thrown. Zabuza unleashed a water dragon technique, which Naruto countered with a fire dragon technique. He swiftly threw a kunai at Zabuza and Chujiro, who blocked it with their swords. Naruto then used a magnet release technique, causing their swords to fly toward the kunai. Zabuza, feeling desperate, called out to Mei and Chujiro to flank Naruto while he and Ao would attack head-on. As the battle commenced, Ao struck at Naruto's face, but Naruto easily dodged. However, Zabuza and Chujiro managed to land kunais in vital spots. Hinata watched in fear, worried for Naruto. Suddenly, Naruto revealed that it was all an illusion created by his Mangekyo Sharingan, leaving everyone confused. He deactivated his Mangekyo and switched to his 3-Tomo Sharingan, launching into a taijutsu fight with Mei and knocking her unconscious with a swift blow to the stomach. Ao activated his Byakugan but quickly deactivated it after failing to see Naruto's chakra. Naruto attacked with incredible speed, leaving Ao unconscious as well. With only Zabuza and Chujiro left, Naruto smiled confidently at them. They simultaneously unleashed a water technique, but Naruto remained unfazed. With a simple hand sign, he executed an impressive fire technique, producing a black, opaque flame that extinguished their water attack. Zabuza admitted defeat, and Chujiro followed suit, both collapsing to their knees from chakra exhaustion. Naruto, full of energy, carried Mei to a beautiful patch of grass and began healing her with chakra from Kurama, which helped her regain consciousness. She asked what had happened, and Naruto proudly declared that he had won before stepping back to let her rest. He then rejoined his team, who eagerly congratulated him, showering him with kisses. Kakashi offered his congratulations, while Sasuke questioned how Naruto never seemed to lose. Naruto simply replied that it was difficult to beat him. Zabuza pointed out that he was curious about Naruto's relationship with Haku, to which Naruto revealed it had happened a while ago. In a flashback, Naruto was training at Training Ground 8 since Training Ground 7 was occupied. Haku appeared, and Naruto paused to greet her. Haku expressed that she wanted to see him and nervously asked for a date. Naruto agreed to pick her up at 8. Later that evening he arrived at Haku's house, where she greeted him in a lovely black dress. He complimented her, and they held hands as they left for dinner. After a delightful evening, Naruto walked Haku home and expressed his pleasure in spending time with her. Haku, feeling bold, confessed her feelings, and as she closed her eyes to kiss him, she was surprised when their lips met. Naruto reciprocated her feelings, but he had more to say. Explaining his situation and life, Haku reassured Naruto, and they shared a tender moment. In a flashback, Naruto reflected on that day with a smile. Zabuza wished him luck as he prepared to leave. Naruto knew he had to head to the council room to strategize against the current Mizukichi. Before disappearing in a flash of red, he gave each of his fiancées a gentle kiss. Naruto arrived in front of a large room where discussions about the political and military activities of the war were taking place. As he entered, he saw everyone seated, with Mei at the head of the crescent-shaped table, waiting for him alongside clan leaders and division commanders to devise a strategy to overthrow Yagura. Mei invited Naruto to sit beside her, and he complied. Once everyone was ready, Mei confidently announced the start of the meeting to defeat Yagura, revealing a ninja paper with a seal. One of the council members inquired about the seal, and Mei explained that it was a special technique of Naruto's that would help them defeat Yagura. Another council member asked if the seal would grant immortality, to which Naruto clarified that it could only be used once per seal. They discussed their plan to distribute the seals to their allies, allowing them to revive at the base after being defeated. Mei noted that with this strategy, a Jounin could potentially defeat an entire battalion. Naruto mentioned he currently had 1,000 seals but would have nearly 1,000,000 ready for their attack in a week, thanks to his shadow clones. Mei concluded the meeting, promising to inform everyone about the seals and their usage. A week later, Naruto rallied the resistance, declaring that they would win not just for themselves but for those they loved, raising his katana and charging into battle. Kurama, his bijou, commented on Naruto's unexpected ability to deliver a speech, and Naruto dismissed him, focusing on his team. He touched his allies, enveloping them in a protective red cloak. As they arrived at the village, Yagura's army awaited them. Naruto swiftly attacked Yagura, who blocked his punch, but Naruto managed to leave a seal on him before disappearing in a flash of red, leaving the others to fight. In a forest, Naruto confronted Yagura, urging him to stop the war. Yagura insisted that his enemies must perish. The two activated their chakra cloaks, and Naruto attempted to strike Yagura, leaving a seal that he later detonated, though Yagura remained largely unharmed. Yagura retaliated with a series of strikes, landing the first blow on Naruto. Yagura declared he would finish the fight quickly, transforming into his three-tailed form. Naruto activated his own special technique, realizing that Yagura was under a genjutsu due to the way his chakra moved. He sought to free Yagura, and Kurama offered to help if Naruto could immobilize him. Naruto combined his chakra to summon 3 gates from the sky, binding Yagura's tails. He approached Yagura and entered his mental space. Inside Yagura's mind, Naruto confronted him, determined to end the conflict. Yagura expressed his inability to break free from the genjutsu, but Kurama intervened, unleashing a powerful wave of chakra to assist. Outside the mental space, Naruto released the gates, and Yagura transformed back into his original form. Yagura expressed his desire to end the war, and Naruto activated his Susanoo, a light gray form with a Spartan helmet, wielding a spear and a mysterious black sphere. He commanded everyone to cease fighting, declaring that the war was over. As he deactivated the Susanoo, revealing Yagura beside him, a ninja from the resistance questioned his intentions. Naruto explained that Yagura had been under a genjutsu, and when Yagura nervously spoke, he apologized for his actions, hoping for forgiveness. The resistance members responded with compassion, offering their forgiveness. They shouted in unison. Yagura expressed his gratitude and, as his final act as Mizukage, named Mei Terumi as the 5th Mizukage, placing the Kage hat on her head. Mei thanked him and embraced Naruto warmly. Naruto, surprised by the sudden hug, found himself momentarily overwhelmed. A week later, at the entrance of Kirigakure, Naruto felt it was time to leave with his team. Mei wished him well, giving him a gentle kiss on the lips. Naruto acknowledged her farewell and walked towards his village, accompanied by his team. In his mind, Naruto reflected on how glad he was to have helped Yagura. Kurama, his inner companion, commented that there were fewer tailed beasts left to liberate, sounding somewhat annoyed. Naruto responded that it was better than nothing and reminded Kurama that he had already reunited with his brothers. Kurama conceded, albeit with a hint of irritation. Naruto smiled at the banter. After some time, Naruto and his team arrived in Konoha. They reported back, and Naruto was given a week before setting off to find Tsunade with Jiraiya. Plans were made to announce the return of the 5th Hokage and the other Hokages afterward. At the village gate, Naruto asked Jiraiya if he was ready. Jiraiya told him to calm down, assuring him that Tsunade wouldn't be far away. Naruto, excited, expressed his eagerness to see her, knowing she was the best medical ninja. Jiraiya agreed, and they set off together in search of Tsunade. As they traveled, Naruto thought about how it was only a matter of time before Itachi returned to Konoha, feeling optimistic about his plan to bring back his sort of older brother. Meanwhile, Kakashi was watching some individuals in black cloaks with red clouds when Asuma and Kurenai arrived. Kakashi, with a playful tone, asked if they were on a date. Kurenai dismissed his comment, stating they were there to check the results of the Chunin exam and invited him to join them. Kakashi declined, turning back to find the 2 cloaked figures had vanished. He called out to Asuma and Kurenai, urging them to follow him until they reached the side of the water canal. Itachi, spotting them, acknowledged Asuma, Kurenai, and Kakashi. Konan introduced herself, removing her straw hat. Asuma was surprised to see two S-rank ninjas in their midst. Kakashi, serious now, asked if they were looking for Naruto. Conan confirmed that they were familiar with him. Itachi, tired of the games, activated his Mangekyo Sharingan and declared his intent. Itachi looked into Kakashi's eyes within the Tsukuyami. Kakashi realized they were trapped in Itachi's genjutsu. Itachi declared that in this space-time genjutsu, he was like a god. Kakashi informed him that Naruto had gone to find Tsunade along with Jiraiya in Tanzaku. Itachi thanked him and released the Tsukuyami. Outside the Tsukuyami, Kakashi fell to his knees as Itachi had altered his chakra upon entering the illusion. Itachi instructed Conan to leave with him, disappearing in a flurry of crows. In Tanzaku, Naruto was meditating in a hotel room when he heard a knock at the door. He stood up to open it and greeted Itachi and Conan calmly, but they had to dodge Naruto's kick. He stepped out into the hotel hallway, and Conan urged Itachi to handle the situation. Itachi activated his Mangekyo Sharingan, while Naruto prepared for action. Unbeknownst to Naruto, Conan stepped back and attempted to attack Itachi with a paper shuriken. However, Naruto quickly activated his Rinna Sharingan and used Shinra Tensei, sending Conan crashing against the wall. She cursed as she got back on her feet, surprised by his strength. Itachi questioned why she would attack him, to which Conan expressed her disdain for the atrocities committed by Akatsuki but admitted she couldn't bring herself to kill Pain. Naruto suggested that if that was the case, she should join them in Konoha. Itachi questioned whether it could be a trap, but Naruto expressed his belief in her. Conan hesitated, wondering if the Hokage would accept her. Naruto reassured her that they should go directly to the Hokage Tower, as he would know what to do. Just then, Jiraiya arrived, attempting to attack Itachi, but Naruto stopped him, explaining that they needed to find Tsunade. Jiraiya reluctantly agreed. The next day, Naruto expressed frustration at their lack of progress. Jiraiya reminded him that as a sensor ninja, he should be able to find her. However, Naruto explained that the seal on Tsunade prevented him from sensing her chakra. Jiraiya suggested they rest and continue their search the following day. Naruto agreed and proposed they eat something. Jiraiya pointed to a restaurant and they entered, only to find the person they were looking for. Tsunade looked at Jiraiya and asked what he wanted, noting it was unusual to see both of her former teammates on the same day. Naruto served sake to Jiraiya, Tsunade, and himself, stating they wanted her to return to Konoha. Tsunade questioned who he was, and Naruto introduced himself as Naruto Otsutsuki, pointing to Shizune, who identified herself as Tsunade's apprentice. Tsunade asked if Jiraiya was his teacher, to which he proudly affirmed. Naruto, however, teased Jiraiya, calling him Ero Sennin. Tsunade sensed they had ulterior motives for seeking her out and pressed for their true intentions. Naruto insisted they wanted her to become the fifth Hokage. Tsunade flatly refused, stating that only a fool would waste their life in such a way. Naruto challenged her, reminding her of her lineage as the granddaughter of the first Hokage. Tsunade realized he was Minato and Kushina's son. Naruto explained that he had recommended her for Hokage because he believed she was the right choice, but now he felt he had been mistaken. Jiraiya questioned what he was doing, and Naruto asserted that there were stronger and wiser candidates to inherit the legacies of the Hokages, stating that the village didn't need a weeping woman. Tsunade snapped back, questioning what he knew about loss, to which Naruto revealed that he had lost his best friend and fiancé before his eyes, having trained with them every year until they were murdered. Jiraiya urged Naruto to stop, but Naruto insisted that for situations like this, one must be tough. He challenged Tsunade, asking why she didn't help those who could have been saved instead of crying. Tsunade retorted that he could never understand her pain, having never lost anyone. Naruto countered that he had experienced loss and urged her to save lives, not just for herself but for those in need, smiling at her. Tsunade expressed her gratitude and hugged Naruto. He then presented her with a gift, placing a paper seal on her forehead. After removing the seal, he explained it would make her younger, a gift he had originally intended for Jiraiya. Jiraiya suggested they return to the village, while Naruto expressed a desire to fight Orochimaru again. As they left, Naruto took Tsunade by the waist and held Shizen's hand, disappearing in a flash of red light. Jiraiya, feeling left out, asked what about him, but Naruto quickly returned to tell him to walk with them before vanishing again. Later, Naruto stood at the entrance of the Hokage's office. Upon entering, he found all the Hokages gathered, discussing the announcement that everyone was alive. Tsunade was bewildered by the situation, and the Hokages greeted her in unison. Naruto asked if everything was ready, and Tobirama confirmed it was. Hiruzen informed Naruto that they had received a letter from the Mizukage, which made Naruto curious about its contents. Minato nervously revealed that he would have a new fiancée, causing Naruto to blush. Hashirama suggested they train, as they still didn't know if their chakra was the same. Naruto proposed that they all fight against him, smiling confidently. Hiruzen agreed, while Minato expressed concern about Naruto's youth. Naruto boasted that despite his appearance, his power surpassed that of all of them. Tobirama suggested they see for themselves. In Training Ground 5, Naruto activated his chakra control mantle from Kurama, surprising Tobirama. Hiruzen warned them to be cautious, as Naruto could use the Flying Thunder God technique without seals. Hashirama decided to take the fight seriously, entering Sage Mode, while Minato followed suit, activating his Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto charged at the Kages, engaging Tobirama in a taijutsu battle. Just as he was about to defeat him, he had to dodge a fireball launched by Hiruzen. Tobirama instructed Hiruzen to provide support from a distance while he and Minato attacked with taijutsu. Hashirama joined the fray, and while Naruto gradually gained the upper hand, he vanished in a flash of red light just as they attempted to corner him. Naruto could not finish his thought as he had to dodge a kick from Naruto. He decided it was time to move to the next level, showcasing his Rinne Sharingan in all its glory. Tobirama warned everyone to be careful, as Naruto could now predict their movements, and they were unsure of his abilities with the Rinnegan. Naruto continued his assault on Minato, who barely managed to block the attacks, but Naruto pressed on until Hashirama intervened. He used his wood release technique, causing a tree to sprout at Naruto's feet. Naruto quickly countered with a sealing technique, placing his hand on the tree, which halted its growth. Tobirama realized that Naruto also mastered sealing techniques. With determination, Naruto declared he would show why the Uzumaki clan was feared, pulling out a pencil. Minato was confused by the pencil, while Hashirama warned everyone to be cautious of its potential. Naruto resumed his taijutsu attacks against Hiruzen, who defended himself even better than Minato. In a flash, Naruto disappeared and reappeared in front of Minato, who also defended himself, continuing the pattern with all the Hokages until Hashirama managed to land a hit. Naruto acknowledged the good hit but noted it was too late, forming a tiger seal. Tobirama noticed that everyone had a seal on their stomachs, realizing the gravity of the situation. Naruto unleashed his sealing technique, draining Minato's chakra, who felt almost all of it vanish. Hashirama felt relieved to have Sage Mode as backup, smiling at the situation. Tobirama tossed some papers to the other Hokages, and Minato expressed his gratitude as he recovered. Hiruzen stood up, ready to continue. Naruto acknowledged Tobirama's precautions, noting that one should never let their guard down. Tobirama explained that he always carried chakra seals to prevent running out or being sealed himself. With resolve, Naruto declared it was time to end the battle. He created 4 wooden clones and announced the opening of the 8th gate, the Door of Death, alongside his clones. Minato was confused by this, while Tobirama reassured him to look at the clones. Hiruzen was surprised that they did not dissipate, realizing Naruto had mastered the inner gates. Hashirama marveled at Naruto's ability to reproduce his cells through natural chakra, showcasing cellular multiplication. Naruto then summoned a gigantic Susen, so large that even a finger could rival a bijou. However, he quickly dispelled it, deactivating his Rinne Sharingan and the 8 gates, and dismissed his clones. Hashirama was impressed and asked how Naruto had gained such power. Naruto credited his training and a bit of help, mentioning that without being a Jinchuriki, he would be low on chakra. He praised the Hokages, giving them a thumbs up. Minato informed Naruto that the Tsuchikage would arrive in 2 days for a political marriage. Naruto firmly refused, stating he would not marry without love. Minato agreed but insisted that Naruto would have to fight the girl. Naruto accepted, adding that if they made a peace treaty, the world would be one step closer to peace. Tobirama cautioned him to forget about peace, but Naruto insisted that understanding could lead to it, and those who opposed peace would be stopped. Minato asked Naruto if he was going home, to which Naruto replied he was going to eat and told him to inform Karen he would be at Ichiraku Ramen. Upon entering Ichiraku, Naruto found it empty. Ayam greeted him with a smile, asking if he wanted ramen. Naruto explained he had come to talk to her. After some conversation, he nervously asked Ayam if she would like to go on a date with him. She blushed and agreed. They arranged to meet at 8. Later, Naruto returned home to change and picked up Ayam for their date. They went to a restaurant since Naruto hadn't eaten all day. After their meal, he took her to the top of Hokage Mountain. Naruto invited her to sit with him at the edge, and as they admired the moon, he playfully asked who was more beautiful. When Ayam asked, he confidently claimed it was himself, earning a light punch on the shoulder from her. Naruto then confessed his feelings for her, and Ayam admitted she liked him too, even saying she didn't mind sharing him. They shared a sweet moment before Naruto teleported them back to Ichiraku, where he gave her a gentle kiss on the forehead and promised to visit her more often. He also invited her to live with him and the other girls in a new house he had bought. They shared another kiss before parting ways, with Naruto promising to pick her up the next day. A day had passed since Naruto faced the Hokages, and he was walking to the Hokage Tower when he accidentally bumped into a ninja from Iwagakure, causing her to fall. Kuratsuchi expressed her annoyance, but after Naruto helped her up, she thanked him, blushing slightly. Naruto then arrived at the Hokage office, where he found the 5 Hokages, the Tsuchika Jinoki, and another ninja. Minato explained that Inoki had arrived a day early to meet him. Inoki suggested they wait for his granddaughter, who soon entered with a smile. Tsunade proposed they head to the training field. At the training field, Naruto was eager to begin, and Kuratsuchi responded enthusiastically. Tobirama appointed Kitsuchi as the referee. The match commenced with Naruto exchanging blows with Kuratsuchi, who adeptly dodged and blocked his attacks. Seeing an opening, Kuratsuchi landed a punch to Naruto's stomach. As he absorbed the hit, he pulled her into an embrace. Kuratsuchi was about to respond when a kunai landed nearby. Naruto instructed her to go to her grandfather, and she complied, blushing. Suddenly, Orochimaru arrived with Team 7 and Kushina. In a flash, a blonde ninja with green eyes appeared at the kunai. Naruto asked who he was, and the boy introduced himself as Makaro, claiming to be Naruto's brother, activating his Sharingan. Minato was taken aback, questioning what he meant. Naruto explained that it was an experiment involving his cells and those of his mother, speaking seriously. Just then, Yugao arrived, visibly excited, informing him that the ninjas from Otogakure and some unfamiliar white figures were invading Konoha. Naruto acknowledged the situation, stating it was time to awaken the beast within him as he retrieved a scroll that revealed a sword. He then created 1,000 wooden clones, impressing Hashirama. Naruto instructed the Hokages to defend the village while he dealt with the intruders, activating his MC. Inoki called for Kuratsuchi and Kitsuchi to retreat. Without turning around, Naruto asked Yugao to escort their guest to a safe place, to which she agreed, reminding him to take care as everyone rushed out to defend the village alongside the wooden clones. Naruto noted that it was just him, his brother, and Orochimaru left to deal with. Makaro, the brother, expressed his desire to finish things quickly. Naruto declared that Orochimaru would soon experience the light of the yang. He attacked with his sword, but Makaro dodged and appeared behind him. Naruto swiftly dropped the weapon, causing it to explode and injure Makaro, while he moved to Orochimaru's side, delivering a kick to his face. Naruto then unleashed Amaterasu on Orochimaru, who barely managed to evade the attack. Makaro, now serious, transformed his eyes into a purple pattern. Naruto responded by activating his Rinne Sharingan, throwing a kunai into the sky before starting to run. Makaro, confused by the kunai, mimicked Naruto's movements. When Naruto confronted Makaro, he attempted a kick to the stomach, which Makaro easily dodged. Makaro began to speak but was interrupted when a kunai struck his shoulder. Naruto remarked that intelligence always wins just before the kunai exploded. Makaro fell, unconscious, and Naruto turned his attention to Orochimaru. He initiated a taijutsu battle, quickly gaining the upper hand until Orochimaru decided to retreat. At that moment, the 4 sound ninjas and 3 additional ninjas appeared. Naruto expressed his disappointment to Orochimaru, raising his hand as he activated Bansho Tenin, pulling Orochimaru toward him. He placed a seal on Orochimaru's head, causing his limp body to fall to the ground. Whispering the sealing technique, he prepared to address the sound ninjas. Tayuya angrily demanded to know what he had done. Naruto recognized Kimimaro as a member of the Kagaya clan and offered to help him heal, which surprised Kimimaro. Naruto assured them they could stay in Konoha as long as they behaved, smiling as they expressed their gratitude. He then turned to Makaro, contemplating that he could end his life but chose not to, deciding instead to remove his eyes and destroy them later, offering him new ones with the Ashura seal. Kurama reminded Naruto that they needed to train and protect the other Jinchuriki. After the invasion, Naruto took Makaro to the hospital. The Hokages announced that Konan and Itachi would join the village along with the Sound Ninjas and that all the Hokages were alive. Later, Naruto gathered with Team 7, his fiancés, Konan, Itachi, Ayam, Kuratsuchi, Anoki, and the Hokages in the Hokage's office. He informed them of his plan to travel for 3 years, wanting Konan and his fiancés, including Kuratsuchi and Ayam, to accompany him. Curious, Yugao asked why they were going on a trip. Naruto explained that he needed to find and protect the Jinchuriki. Konan expressed her desire to join, and Naruto reassured her that he would train her to keep her safe from pain. Kuratsuchi agreed to go, giving Naruto a kiss, which he reciprocated. Ayam asked about her involvement, and Naruto confessed his feelings for her, but before he could finish, Ayam kissed him. Thus, Naruto and the others set out on their 3-year journey. Thanks to the space-time seal he improved, they trained for 9 years. During their training, rumors spread that Akai had returned with a group of women. At the entrance of Konoha, Naruto appeared with 7 girls: Konan, Ayam, Yugao, Karin, Hinata, Kuratsuchi, and Fu. A guard, astonished to see his hero, addressed Naruto respectfully. Naruto replied that he was heading to see Tsunade, disappearing in a flash of red light with his group. In the Hokage Tower, Naruto knocked on the door and was immediately granted entry by Tsunade. He and his now wives entered her office, where Tsunade expressed her surprise at their arrival. She pointed out Fu, asking who she was. Naruto introduced her as Fuchan, a Jinchuriki he had met after her village abandoned her. Tsunade inquired about their skill levels, and Naruto informed her that all the girls were at a low Kage level, except for Ayam, who was at a low Jounin level. Impressed, Tsunade suggested they rest after their journey. Upon returning home, the girls headed to their rooms to sleep. Naruto noted how tired they were and was relieved he had sent clones ahead to bring Ayam and Kuratsuchi's belongings. Kurama reminded him about the clan leaders' meeting. Naruto planned to attend later, stepping out to a nearby restaurant where he spotted Kurinai and Anko. Naruto approached their table, cheerfully asking if he could join them. Anko was surprised to see him, while Kurinai nervously welcomed him to sit down. After thanking them, Naruto explained that he was there for the best sake in the village. Soon after, Asuma and Kakashi arrived, and Kakashi greeted Naruto with his usual smile. Asuma asked Kurinai if they could sit, and she agreed. A waiter soon approached to take their orders. Naruto requested the best sake, while Anko and Asuma ordered dango, and Kakashi opted for a soft drink, engrossed in his book. Kakashi mentioned he heard Naruto had been promoted to Jounin before leaving. Naruto inquired about Sasuke's promotion, and Kakashi confirmed it had happened months ago. Kurinai then asked about Hinata, to which Naruto responded that she was doing well and had become one of the strongest kunoichi in the village. Asuma asked about Ino. Curious, Naruto remarked that he was as strong as Hinata. Anko, feeling irritated at being excluded from the conversation, stated that she didn't have a team. Just then, The waiter arrived with everyone's orders and announced that he would take his leave if that was everything. Naruto decided it was time for some good sake and poured himself a small cup. At that moment, an Anbyu appeared and informed Naruto that the Hokage wanted to see him before vanishing in a swirl of leaves. Acknowledging the message, Naruto left some money on the table and disappeared in a flash of red light, reappearing in front of Tsunade. Tsunade, with a serious expression, informed Naruto that Gaara had been kidnapped by Akatsuki and instructed him to go with Sasuke and Kakashi to rescue him. Naruto agreed and vanished again in a flash of red light, returning to the other Jounin senseis. He told Kakashi that they needed to head to the Eastern Gate as soon as possible before disappearing once more. After Sasuke and Kakashi arrived at the Eastern Gate, Naruto encouraged them to go and touch their shoulders, immediately teleporting them with Kamui to the entrance of Suna. The guard, looking serious, acknowledged them as Konoha shinobi. Naruto explained that they had come in response to a message sent to Konoha and showed the mission scroll. The guard allowed them to pass and offered to guide them to where Kankuro was. After walking through the village, they arrived at Kankuro's location. Kankuro greeted Naruto with a smile, and Naruto explained that he was there to deliver the rescue mission scroll. Kankuro confirmed this, but before they could leave, he mentioned that one of their shinobi would be accompanying them. Curious about who it would be, Naruto was surprised when an elderly woman entered the room. She immediately attacked Kakashi, but he skillfully dodged her strikes. Kankuro, looking serious, told Chiyo to stop. Naruto, smiling, asked the elderly woman what her issue was with their teacher, Kakashi. Chiyo, surprised, recognized Kakashi as the son of the White Fang. Kakashi nervously confirmed this. With that, Naruto suggested they leave and vanished in a flash of red light along with the others, reappearing in front of a cave blocked by a large rock. Noticing a seal on a piece of paper in the middle of the rock, Naruto pointed it out. Sasuke asked if he could handle it, to which Naruto confidently replied that he could. Taking out a pencil, Naruto began to draw a counter-seal for the rock. Once finished, he placed the seal on the rock, which began to glow and then shattered, allowing the team to enter. Inside, they were met by Sasori and Deidara. Naruto, with a grin, remarked on the unusual duo, calling Deidara a talking puppet and a lover of explosions. Deidara reacted angrily, while Sasori began to respond. Sasuke swiftly pierced his puppet with a sword, forcing Sasori to reveal his true form. Naruto instructed Sasuke to handle Sasori while he pursued Deidara, asking Kakashi to protect Gaara. Naruto began his chase to catch Deidara, who had stopped in a forest. With a confident smile, Naruto declared that Deidara would meet his end. Deidara responded that Naruto would have to catch him first, creating a clay bird that was quickly shot down by a blast of air, causing it to explode and send Deidara crashing into a tree, which splintered upon impact. Deidara, still smiling, cursed Naruto. Naruto quickly reached Deidara, who removed his shirt to reveal a peculiar design. Naruto announced that it was time to end Deidara's life, extending his hands to form a whirlwind around him before unleashing a fireball that ignited the vortex. Deidara vowed not to leave without taking Naruto with him, but the force of the tornado redirected the explosion upward, creating a brilliant beam of light. Naruto noted that they had begun capturing the Jinchuriki and created 4 clones, instructing them to go after the other Jinchuriki before disappearing in a flash of red. The original Naruto appeared in front of Sasori, quickly dodging a kick from Sasuke that struck Sasori instead. Sasori fell, lifeless, after being pierced by Naruto's Chidori. As Sasori collapsed, 4 red flashes revealed Naruto's clones and the other Jinchuriki, except for Fu, who was at Naruto's home sleeping. Naruto addressed the group, stating that Akatsuki had just mobilized. Be asked what they would do, and Pain, standing with his 5 other bodies, turned to Naruto. With sarcasm, Naruto remarked on Madara finally showing himself. Obito, the masked man, replied that it was not yet time to fight before vanishing in a vortex. Naruto instructed Kakashi to take Chiyo away and for the others to pursue Haiden and Kari. Sasuke grunted in acknowledgement and charged at Kakuzu while Kakashi left with Chiyo. Using a clone, Naruto touched the 6 paths, transporting them to his Kamui dimension alongside him. Once there, he dispelled his clones. With a smile, Naruto addressed Pain, revealing he knew his true identity as Nagato Uzumaki. Pain acknowledged Naruto but insisted that it wouldn't matter, as he would die. Naruto quickly threw a kunai, which was deflected by Deva Path. He then formed a Rasengan, but it was absorbed by Pain, who fell to the ground, unable to handle the natural energy. Naruto performed a hand seal that caused a Jura Path to explode. Naruto remarked that a little more time and everyone would have been blown away. Pain recognized the Fuinjutsu. Without further ado, Naruto charged at Deva Path, who attempted to repel him with Shinra Tensei. Thanks to the distraction, Naruto managed to teleport next to Animal Path, who was swiftly taken down by a Chidori, while Human Path also fell to a hidden clone of Naruto. Together, Naruto and his clone quickly eliminated Naraka Path. Facing Deva Path, Naruto braced himself but was still thrown against a square rock, causing his clone to dissipate. Deva Path, growing tired of the battle, began to float to a significant height and declared Shinra Tensei. Naruto responded with Chibaku Tensei, showcasing his Rinne Sharingan in full glory, nullifying Deva's attack. Without his ability, Naruto was able to decapitate him with his sword before exiting Kamui. Upon his return, Naruto saw Kozu defeated and Haiden engaged in battle with the others. He performed Jintun, Genkai Hakuri no Jutsu, forming a cube that trapped Haiden before exploding a sphere at its center, disintegrating Haiden while containing the blast within the cube, which vanished after the attack. Naruto noted he had to leave, disappearing in a flash of red to reappear in front of a gaunt, red-haired figure with bars piercing his body. Nagato questioned what Naruto was doing there, to which Naruto replied he had come to help. Nagato insisted he did not need Naruto's assistance. After Nagato expressed regret, a vortex appeared, taking him away. Naruto cursed before returning to the Jinchuriki, who were now with Kakashi. He announced his intention to return to Konoha and instructed B to tell the Raikage to call a meeting with the other Kages. B agreed before disappearing with the other Jinchuriki in a flash of red. Naruto commented that the seal seemed to be working, smiling. Sasuke informed Naruto that the Kazekage had signed off on their mission's completion and suggested they head back to Konoha. Naruto agreed, urging everyone to hold on as they vanished in a flash of red alongside Sasuke and Kakashi. Upon arriving in front of the Hokage Tower, Naruto declared they had arrived. Kakashi told them they could leave, as he would handle the report. Naruto thanked Kakashi-sensei, and Sasuke suggested they go see Itachi, who would surely want to see Naruto. They disappeared in a burst of fire, arriving before Itachi, who exclaimed Naruto's name. He was surprised as his two friends appeared in front of him just as he was entering. Naruto called out to Itachi before giving him a hug. Itachi smiled and acknowledged Naruto. Sasuke, with confidence, challenged Naruto to a fight. Naruto agreed, just as a yellow flash signaled the arrival of the other Hokages. Minato called out to Naruto, but was quickly interrupted by a playful hit from Kushina, who smiled and asked why he hadn't mentioned he was coming to see Naruto. Minato apologized to Kushina, explaining that they were there to watch Naruto fight, before embracing her. Hiruzen, looking rejuvenated, announced that if everyone was ready, they could begin. Naruto quickly activated his Sharingan, mirroring Sasuke's actions. Sasuke initiated a taijutsu battle, landing a punch to Naruto's face, which Naruto easily dodged. However, Sasuke took advantage of the moment to deliver a kick to Naruto's chest, which Naruto blocked. He countered with a punch to Sasuke's stomach, but Sasuke swiftly evaded, only to be caught off guard by a reverse kick that pushed him back a few steps. Seizing the opportunity, Sasuke performed hand seals. Sasuke unleashed a fireball technique, sending a blazing sphere toward Naruto. In response, Naruto executed a water technique without hand seals, summoning a massive wave that extinguished the fireball and created a cloud of smoke. Sasuke quickly drew a kunai to deflect incoming shuriken but then performed another sequence of hand seals. He launched a powerful fire technique, sending a stream of flames racing across the ground toward Naruto, flanked by two smaller flames. Naruto praised Sasuke's effort but declared the fight was over. He unleashed a wind technique, releasing a series of vacuum waves that redirected the flames, increasing their size until they formed a towering wall of fire. Tobirama intervened with a water technique, extinguishing the flames. Itachi smiled at Sasuke and Naruto, acknowledging their skills. 3 days later, at the Hokage Tower, Naruto expressed his inability to attend the meeting as a bodyguard, stating he had matters to attend to outside of Konoha and would be taking his wives with him. Minato, curious, asked what he planned to do. Naruto explained he had pending affairs and needed to leave. Minato suggested that Sasuke and Itachi could accompany him, which Naruto accepted before departing Konoha with his wives. 2 days later, at the Kage assembly, the Kages were seated with their bodyguards behind them when a young man with red hair took the empty seat, accompanied by 7 girls. Mifune calmly addressed Naruto, asking him to explain his presence. Naruto smiled and informed everyone that Uzushiogakure had been destroyed during the Third Great Ninja War and that he had begun the complete reconstruction of the village of the Whirlpools. A inquired when the village would be fully rebuilt. Naruto confidently replied that in 1 year, they should be able to start producing ninjas and establish a stable economy within 3 months. Requested their assistance until the village could sustain itself. Inoki asked how they could help, and Naruto expressed the need for a teacher for the academy and some civilians willing to live in the village. Gaara, Mei, and Tsunade all expressed their support for Naruto's endeavor, and Inoki agreed, smiling at the prospect of helping. Mifune then addressed the assembly, mentioning that while Akatsuki had been dissolved, a few members remained. Naruto confirmed this, expressing concern about their whereabouts when suddenly a vortex appeared in the middle of the room, from which 2 figures emerged. One was Obito Uchiha, and the other resembled Kabuto but had a serpentine face. Obito declared the Fourth Great Ninja War before disappearing with Kabuto. Naruto had anticipated this but was surprised it happened so soon. They asked what they should do, and Naruto proposed forming a complete exercise to confront the Zetsu. He would handle sealing and containing the Edo Tensei. Inoki questioned how Naruto knew about the Edo Tensei, and Naruto explained he had clones. He instructed the Kages to be alert for any surprise attacks and to contain their as. Tobirama, serious, inquired who Naruto thought could be their hidden trump card. Naruto speculated it could be Madara or a technique from the former Kages. Mei suggested they begin mobilizing their troops, and Mifune asked who would lead the alliance. Naruto proposed Tobirama Senju, recognizing his calculative and tenacious nature as fitting for the role. Tobirama accepted the position if everyone agreed. After all accepted the proposal, they returned to their respective villages to begin mobilizing their armies for the war. 2 days later, the entire shinobi alliance stood before their commanders, Itachi, Gaara, and Tobirama. Tensions rose as a ninja from Kumogakure accused a ninja from Sunagakure of killing his father, igniting an internal conflict. Naruto stepped forward, calling for silence. He reminded everyone that they had all lost loved ones and had likely caused pain to others in their line of work. However, today was not about killing, it was about protecting those they cared for. The alliance of shinobi rallied together, united in their purpose. Everyone shouted in excitement. Naruto felt relieved that his plan had worked, unsure of what he would have done otherwise. Kurama reminded him to be grateful for his talent in giving speeches. After Kurama's comment, Naruto declared that they were heading into battle, teleporting alongside 3 of the 4 battalions and their respective commanders. He instructed them to hold off the revived enemies while he sealed them away, just before Madara Uchiha and Obito Uchiha appeared. Wishing them luck, he vanished from sight. Minato, astonished, called out to his grandfather, while Hashirama addressed Madara with a serious tone. Madara quietly apologized to Minato and Hashirama, ensuring Obito wouldn't hear him. 30 minutes later, Naruto arrived at the spot where Madara had first appeared, witnessing Minato engaged in battle with Madara, both wielding their Susen. Naruto leaped toward the Susanoo, but Obito attempted to intercept him. In a swift motion, Naruto drew his sword and struck at Obito's head, causing him to become intangible and pass through Naruto. With a quick spin, Naruto delivered a horizontal slash to Madara's Susanoo, cutting a path inside. Facing Madara, Naruto extended his hand, which bore a sealing technique, but just as he was about to touch Madara's chest, a voice interrupted. A blonde woman with green eyes, clearly an Edo Tensei, sent him flying with a powerful wind technique. Naruto recognized her as Mia. Mia greeted Naruto with a smile, and soon after, a young man with red hair and violet eyes appeared. Naruto regarded Yami seriously. Yami sarcastically expressed his joy at seeing Naruto again. Naruto told the Kages they could leave, and Hiruzen agreed, disappearing with the other Kages. Now, only the 5 of them remained. Obito declared it was time for Naruto to die and charged at him, mirroring Naruto's own advance. Naruto threw a kunai at Obito's head, which passed through him as he quickly formed a Rasengan in his hand and teleported above Obito. Obito remarked that he and his father had always been predictable, to which Naruto replied that Obito had always been slow. Obito kicked upward at Naruto, who had reappeared in front of him, but Naruto countered with the Rasengan to Obito's chest. Obito cursed, spitting blood, and Naruto activated his Kamui, trapping Obito in his own pocket dimension. With one down, Naruto turned his angry gaze toward Yami. Madara pointed out that there were still 2 left, and he began forming hand seals. He unleashed a technique to release the Edo Tensei. Naruto smiled at Madara's success. Madara suggested they either kill or free the remaining enemies, positioning himself beside Naruto. Naruto instructed Madara to free the blonde woman while he dealt with the other, to which Madara agreed, expressing how nice it was to be back with family before rushing toward Mia. Now, it was just Naruto and Yami. Yami reminisced about when he had killed someone, taunting Naruto. Naruto replied that he still remembered but assured Yami that today would end differently. Yami would be dead, and he would be happy about it. Yami then reminded Naruto that he was forgetting something. Realizing the danger, Naruto rushed toward Yami. Yami activated a powerful technique, revealing a Rinnegan. Naruto acknowledged Yami's growth, activating his Rinne-Sharingan and enveloping himself in white energy. In a flash, he transformed into the attire of the Sage of 6 Paths. Yami laughed, questioning if that would be enough, revealing a similar seal on his own body. Naruto was stunned to see Yami covered in the same white energy, emerging with his own Rinne-Sharingan and Sage of 6 Paths attire. Naruto recognized the energy as belonging to the Kuroki clan. Yami explained that pure, infinite demonic energy was now his, enhanced by the shell of the Jubi as a catalyst, with his eyes allowing him to control it perfectly. Naruto regretted training Yami, but Yami dismissed the past, calling him Naruto-sensei. Naruto charged at Yami, throwing a punch that was blocked. Yami unleashed small fireballs directed at Naruto. In response, Naruto created a wall of wind to counter the flames, then used Amaterasu to cover the wall in white fire. Yami absorbed the flames with his Kamui. Naruto retaliated by forming a droplet of water, launching it at Yami. Yami dodged swiftly, but when Naruto shouted Kai, the droplet exploded, creating a wave that struck Yami. Yami countered with a fire technique that turned the water into steam. Naruto then generated a strong gust of wind to clear the steam. Yami summoned a water dragon, while Naruto created a massive fireball, generating a smoke screen. Yami unleashed lightning from a cloud, targeting Naruto, who sent the water dragon toward the cloud. Yami shielded himself with a wall of earth just before the electrified dragon could hit him. Emerging from the earth dome, Yami complemented Naruto's efforts. Naruto charged at Yami, who expelled a fireball toward him. Naruto continued his advance, reaching Yami and unleashing a flash of energy from his hand, causing both to be thrown back several meters. Yami laughed, admitting that he had been blinded. Naruto, smiling, noted that he wasn't the only one affected. Yami resolved to adapt, summoning wind shuriken around him and launching them at Naruto. Naruto skillfully dodged the shuriken, closing the distance to Yami. Yami called him an idiot, and Naruto realized too late that Yami had a sword poised to strike. In a split second, he substituted himself with a rock behind Yami, placing a seal and stabbing him with a kunai. He declared that even the simplest kunai could defeat any shinobi, watching as Yami vanished in a flurry of papers, transforming into the Jubi. Naruto was taken aback as the Jubi glowed and transformed into a woman. He recognized her as Kaguya, looking serious as she addressed him. Meanwhile, in another location, Sasuke expressed his disdain for their surroundings, prompting Itachi to suggest they investigate. Suddenly, two women appeared before Kabuto. Itachi was shocked to see Izumi, while Sasuke called out to their mother simultaneously. Kabuto sarcastically remarked on the reunion. Izumi, confused, asked about Itachi, while Mikoto inquired about the situation. Itachi, regaining his serious demeanor, urged Sasuke to follow him. They rushed toward Izumi and Mikoto. Sasuke unleashed a lightning technique that paralyzed Mikoto. Meanwhile, Itachi vanished in flames, appearing before Kabuto, who was astonished. Itachi scolded Kabuto, striking him with a lightning-infused hand. Kabuto claimed he couldn't be defeated, but Itachi's attack was relentless. Sasuke prepared a sealing technique, causing Kabuto to panic as he turned to stone. Itachi instructed Izumi and Mikoto to follow him, but Izumi refused, annoyed. Mikoto urged her to come along, while Sasuke suggested they leave Izumi behind if she wished to stay. Itachi insisted they couldn't abandon her, recalling that Tobirama and Naruto had ordered them to bring back all the revived. Mikoto was confused by the mention of Naruto and Tobirama, prompting Sasuke to summarize that Naruto had revived the Hokages, including Mito Uzumaki and Kushina Uzumaki. Mikoto expressed concern for Kushina. Izumi expressed her excitement. She mentioned to Mikoto that Naruto was not the lost child, which confused Mikoto. Izumi confirmed that he was the one who had left. Mikoto smiled as she realized it was indeed him. Itachi, however, insisted that they needed to leave immediately. Izumi firmly stated that she would not go with them and sat down. Sasuke apologized to Itachi, explaining that he had to leave, and with a flash of red, he disappeared alongside Mikoto and Izumi. Itachi sighed before departing from the inhospitable cave. Meanwhile, Naruto was in a state of desperation, thinking that he needed to get Kaguya out of there before she caused destruction. He quickly grabbed Kaguya by the arm and entered a portal he created with his Rinne Sharingan. He tried to calm her down, but had to dodge a barrage of bone shards that resembled blades. He urged Kaguya to resist the demonic energy, feeling exhausted. Kaguya addressed Naruto calmly, and he placed a seal on her forehead. As soon as he did, her third eye closed. Confused, Kaguya asked what had happened. Naruto explained that after absorbing the Jubi, she lost control. She inquired about Hagoromo and Himura, to which Naruto replied that they had died long ago. Kaguya understood and felt saddened. Naruto then invited her to come with him to Konoha, promising to help her start a new life. Kaguya nervously agreed, and Naruto suggested they find a way out. Kaguya offered to create a small portal, but Naruto reassured her that he could make a larger one. He took her hand, and they stepped out in front of the Kages and their partners. Naruto announced their arrival with a smile. The others greeted him in unison, embracing him warmly. He introduced Kaguya, who would be living with them for the time being. Hinata saw no problem with it, and Ino was equally supportive, suggesting they celebrate. Naruto instructed the Hokages to spread the message that the war was over and asked about Itachi and Sasuke. Tsunade mentioned they should be arriving soon, just as a red flash revealed Sasuke with Izumi and Mikoto. Naruto greeted Mikoto and asked Izumi for her name, to which she introduced herself with a smile. Naruto responded cheerfully, explaining that he was Naruto Otsutsuki. Mikoto was curious about the Otsutsuki name, and Naruto mentioned it was a long story. Tsunade embraced Mikoto from behind, and Mikoto, surprised, recognized her. Tsunade smiled and explained that she looked young thanks to Naruto. Naruto suggested they head to Konoha, and everyone agreed. Later, everyone sat around a campfire. Naruto expressed relief that everything had come to an end. Madara asked if Naruto would revive him like he had with Izumi, Mikoto, and Miya. Naruto replied that he couldn't do it today as he had lost a lot of chakra, smiling as he did so. Mikoto joyfully stated they had finally arrived in Konoha, and Izumi felt at home. Naruto admired the village, and Tsunade suggested they celebrate, hugging Naruto tightly. He jokingly asked her not to squeeze him too hard. Tsunade apologized and released him, but Naruto insisted they should celebrate. He asked Sasuke to take Miya and Kagaya to his mansion. After a couple of hours of drinking, Naruto remarked on how little the others could handle. Tsunade agreed, noting that only the 4 of them remained. Naruto was impressed by Mikoto and Izumi's tolerance. Izumi, slightly tipsy, mentioned she didn't usually drink much, while Mikoto, as Tsunade's student, claimed to have some control over alcohol. Kushina, also present, calmly commented on their control. Izumi wondered why they weren't drunk yet. Naruto explained that the Uzumakis and Sanjus were good with alcohol. 2 hours later, Naruto, now quite tipsy, expressed his affection for the girls. Kushina, with a serious yet tipsy demeanor, called him over. He protested that he wanted to keep drinking and created a clone to continue. Kushina insisted he follow her home. Naruto, confused, wondered what she wanted. Tsunade, almost sober, remarked that she didn't know but noted Kushina's serious expression. At Kushina's home, she asked Naruto what was wrong, and before he could respond, she kissed his clone, which then vanished. Naruto was surprised when he received the memories from his clone. He told Tsunade he had to leave and created another clone that was just as tipsy. Back with Kushina, Naruto arrived to find her lying on the bed. He approached to tuck her in, gently kissing her forehead. She woke up and pulled him down for a kiss. Naruto, confused and intoxicated, called her Oka-san. Kushina playfully responded before leaning in for another kiss. As they shared the moment, Kushina expressed her feelings for him, and they found themselves wrapped up in each other. The next day, Naruto and Kushina woke up almost simultaneously, with Kushina resting on Naruto's chest. Disoriented, Naruto greeted her, and Kushina, blushing, apologized for the previous night. Naruto asked why she felt the need to apologize. Before giving a kiss, the redhead responded. Naruto expressed his love for her, calling her his queen, and kissed her again. Kushina playfully replied that she felt the same way. After sharing a series of kisses, they both got out of bed, feeling a bit sticky like the lovers they were. Kushina mentioned that she would go take a shower, winking at Naruto. He asked if he could join her, but she insisted that he needed to clean up before Mito arrived, leaving him serious. 5 minutes later, Mito and Tsunade arrived. Naruto greeted them with a smile as he exited the room alongside Kushina. Tsunade asked how they were doing, noticing Kushina's blush. Kushina stammered that she was fine. Naruto thought to himself that she wasn't very good at hiding her feelings. He apologized for leaving them alone. Mito laughed, saying that Naruto's clone was just as entertaining, which made him blush. He explained that he had been drunk and thought they would remember. Tsunade revealed that the clone had mistaken Mito for Kushina and almost crossed a line. Kushina was shocked, while Tsunade added that the clone had shared everything that had happened. Naruto expressed his frustration with his irresponsible clones and their antics with alcohol. Kushina playfully hit him on the head, calling him an idiot, and he apologized. Some years had passed since that child was born, the one who amazed the ninja world with his incredible power. Now, he was in the Hokage Tower, struggling with paperwork. At 8 a.m. in Konoha, Naruto let out a frustrated shout. Shizen reminded him that he should focus on his paperwork, offering to help by sitting on his lap. He thanked her, giving her a kiss on the neck, but she reminded him that paperwork came first. After 2 hours, Naruto finally finished. Shizen suggested they go home while hugging his neck. He agreed and disappeared in a flash of red light alongside her. At the Hokage's house, Naruto appeared, only to be tackled to the ground by his children, who called out to him. He smiled, playfully saying they were crushing him. Kagaya told the kids to let their father go, watching as they nearly flattened him. He thanked Kagaya for her help, only to be pulled down again by the white-haired goddess. Hinata urged Kagaya to let Naruto go, fearing for his safety, and asked Ino for assistance. Ino laughed at the situation, while Kushina stepped in to help, removing both Kagaya and Hinata with ease. Naruto thanked her, getting into a battle pose just in case someone else jumped on him. Shizune suggested they go eat, leading the way to the kitchen with the children and Naruto following. Curious about what was for lunch, Naruto entered the kitchen where Haku, Ayam, and Karen were preparing food. Karen greeted him with a smile while cooking ramen. Naruto exclaimed that ramen was the best, giving a kiss to each of the 3 talented cooks. Ayam asked him to pass the seasoning, which he did, and she thanked him with a kiss in return. He happily returned the gesture. Naruto decided they should eat, creating clones to help. He assured everyone that the clones would handle everything. Haku smiled slightly in agreement. As everyone gathered around the table, ready to eat, Naruto expressed his gratitude to the girls with a bright smile. This was the final chapter, and he thanked everyone for their support, giving a special shout-out to Michelle Jordan 11 for being there.